I'd like to call our Board of County Commissioners meeting to order. We're going to start this morning with an invocation, which is a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. It's the holidays, and so for a lot of families and individuals, this is a very special time. But sadly, for many, it's not. They're missing loved ones, they're not together as a family, they have illness and sickness. So during this moment of silence, if you could just be thankful for all the blessings that you have and compassionate for those that don't. Please stand. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. We have two additional items. Consent agenda number 6 is consider a resolution authorizing the Board of County Commissioners of Martin County to participate in a joint meeting with the Board of County Commissioners of St. Lucie, Indian River, and Okeechobee counties to discuss matters of mutual interest. And consent agenda item number 7, approval of a resolution of the Martin County Board of County Commissioners adjusting the Martin County Fire Rescue and City of Stuart automatic and mutual aid fee schedule. Commissioner Smith.
Chairman, I would move approval of the consent agenda, the regular agenda, and the most important part of the agenda, the Gertrude Waldron School children will perform at the holiday meeting this morning.
You are correct. Thank you. Before we take the vote, I'd like to announce that Commissioner Hetherington will not be here today, and we wish her well. And so all of the votes today will be the 4 of us. With that, we have a motion to accept the agenda by Commissioner Smith, seconded by Commissioner Jenkins. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? The motion carries 4-0. And now, as Commissioner Smith just mentioned, we have a remarkable treat for you. Some of you have been here before and seen these beautiful young children come and sing, and those that have not, you're about to have an excellent experience for the holidays. The commissioners, we're going to move down into the audience, and ladies and gentlemen, the beautiful children of the Gertrude Waldron School are coming in.
Good morning. We bring you greetings from Gertrude Waldron Child Care Center, BPK. We're very happy to be here with you this morning. No. I guess they're a little tired. We've had a very busy month already. We were in 3 shows of the Nutcracker at the Lyric last week. 4 changes of 33 kids, not an easy task. But as a part of Florida Arts and Dance, we danced on stage for the Nutcracker. Earlier, we were at ICE in Orlando on November 30th, so they got to braise really cold temperatures. And the whole idea is to give them all of those wonderful experiences, regardless of parent income. So this will be our kindergarten group next school year. So this morning we're here to spread a little Christmas cheer. Are you ready, boys and girls?
Yeah!
Yes? Okay, so let's start with good morning to you. Ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Good morning to you. Good morning to you. From all our places with sunshiny faces and this is the way we start our new day.
All right, we're ready to start our new day. Okay, so we're going to start our day with Jingle Bells. Are you ready?
Yeah!
Okay, hands by your side. And let me hear you. Don't forget those smiles. 1, 2, 3.
Jingle bells jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse sleigh. Hey! Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse sleigh. Hey! Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh. Over the fields we go, laughing all the way. Till the birds ring, making spirits bright. But fire is bright all around. Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey! Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey!
All right. Our next stop when we leave here, we're going over to Guster and Yoakley. The kids get to trick or treat there every year, so we're going to spread a little holiday cheer. And then we're off to Bob Eustace, who's one of our big supporters. And then over to the Stewart Nursing Home, where we always spread holiday cheer with them, as well as cards for them. So boys and girls, are we ready to wish them a Merry Christmas?
Yeah!
Let's hear you. 1, 2, 3.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And the tidings we bring to you and everything. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
One more time. We
Wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
thank you and enjoy. Thank you for coming to see us.
Merry Christmas.
Santa got all the girls.
Oh, you got all the girls, huh? Okay, let's go, guys.
Is that a microphone?
Yeah, that's a microphone. You want to talk in?
Merry Christmas.
Great job. Bye-bye.
Merry Christmas. Good seeing you all again.
Really?
You have to ask for them. How was that for your start of your day?
Yeah, so if that was your first time seeing that, what did you think? Pretty remarkable, right? Yeah, I would tell you that that's going to be the pinnacle of the meeting. We have no,
Done every year.
we have no choice but the meeting to head south from there. Mr. Donaldson, you have your light on?
It was accidental.
Oh, old light for you.
He's practicing.
Okay, a couple of things. We're going to take the agenda item to consider adoption of an ordinance amending Chapter 9 Animals, Article 4, Section 9.87-A.19B General Ordinances, Oregon County Code, to extend the amortization period for existing pet stores to June 30th, 2023. It's public hearing number 4. We're going to take that as our first agenda item of the day. However, we do have some, actually, quite a few public request to speak forms. We'll also have other agenda items, obviously, throughout the day. If you want to speak before any of the items, then when I call your name, you can come forward. If you would like to speak specifically at an agenda item, just let me know that. You cannot speak twice. So if you speak for the item, you can't speak twice on the same topic. If you speak during public on an item, you can then not speak again during the agenda item itself. The other thing I would tell you is that you have 3 minutes to speak, And at the 2-minute and 45-second mark, you'll hear a tone. That doesn't mean you have to stop. That just gives you an idea that you have 15 seconds to sort of wrap up your thought so we don't cut you off. Now, some people would like to speak longer. And as of courtesy to everyone else that would like to speak, we really try to keep it to the 3 minutes. If you ask a question to the board, we don't traditionally respond back during public comment. But since your information is on here, I will hand those cards to our county administrator, and someone from the county staff will get back to you. The other thing I would say is, that's basically it. Sounds like it. Okay, our first request to speak form, the folks that are speaking on the pet store issue and are going to wait to speak during the agenda item, I'm going to allow one representative from each of the stores to have a little more time than 3 minutes to speak. So if you are representing one of those stores, figure out which person that will be, and then when we get to the agenda item, we'll discuss what I believe would be fair. It's not going to be an open all-day conversation on the pros and cons, but I do believe that, personally at least, that 3 minutes might not be enough for someone to make their case. So we'll get to that when we do. My first request to speak for him is Joe Gutierrez.
To speak regarding Willis, if I may.
Okay, thank you. Our next request to speak for him is Mark Palazzo. Good morning, sir. Welcome.
Good morning. My name is Mark Palazzo, and I live in Old Palm City. I had the pleasure of serving on the Old Palm City Neighborhood Advisory Committee for 7 years. I was the chairman of that committee for 4 years and also spent 3 years on the Community Redevelopment Agency. As I think most of you know, the MAP Road project in Old Palm City was one of our primary CRA NAC initiatives. Initiative goes all the way back to the early 2000s when a lot of people worked and supported the MAP Road project. One of the items on the agenda today under Department 2 is the approval of the patio at Palm City Place. It is a key feature that was part of MAP Road that was not included in the original MAP Road funding. It was always something that we had set aside for a future budget year. There's a request as part of Department 2 from the Purchasing Department to approve an investment, a loan to the Neighborhood Advisory Committee for 2 years that'll be repaid by TIF funds in full over that 2-year period. So I'm here to ask for your support and approval of that line item in the budget today for Department 2 for the approval of the patio at Palm City Place.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Our next request to speak for him is Ms. Catherine Winters. If anyone else has a request to speak for him, you can hand it to our bailiff and bring it forward. Good morning, ma'am. Welcome.
Good morning. Thank you so very much. My name is Catherine Winters, and I am a resident of Port Salerno and also currently the Martin County Chair of Community Redevelopment. So good morning, and thank you for all you do. I really appreciate it. The patio at Palm City Place will be a beautiful jewel in MAP Road's redevelopment crown. And this is a perfect project that complements our redeveloping neighborhood's livable and walkable areas with a safe and beautiful place so residents can neighbor and take pride in their newfound downtown. Palm City's redevelopment has been exceptional. Staff's direction and collaboration in securing grants and outside funding makes this project within reach with your willingness to approve the request for a loan from the County General Fund. Please vote yes to move this gem of a project forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Our next request to speak for him is Bernetta Cook.
I'm on there as well, and I'm Donna. I'd like to speak before Bernetta.
Okay, yes.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, welcome.
Thanks for having me. I'm here to speak on behalf of Bernetta Cook. I live on Greens Lane as well, and I'm speaking in regards to her home. As you all are aware, we gave you pictures last time. The builders put a retaining pond behind her house about 5 feet. Then the road was lifted up, leaving her in a swell. So when the hurricane waters come and the flood waters come, her house suffers. And the pictures show that. We're asking that
the county commissioners consider raising her home. Because all of the fixes that we have been told that can be done have not worked. Putting a pipe underground, diverting the water. There's a pond in the back, so there's another enhancement for flooding. So we're just asking, and I do have paperwork for you, that you all consider that. They're working on something now. They've worked on things before, which is drain pipes, and it doesn't work. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much. Ms. Cook, is Bernetta, would you also like to speak, or was that your? Come on forward. Welcome back.
Good morning, everyone. Well, I hope y'all consider lifting my house. I can't even stay in my house. My house got mold. I can't take a shower. My grandkids can't come over. My daughter got lupus. She had to leave. I can't keep going through this. It's about to drive me crazy. I have anxiety bad because when I sleep at night, I smell mold. I put bleach. I put everything. And they just running me out of my house. And I've been there for 4 decades. And I please wish y'all help me. Please. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. We'll discuss that further. Mr. Donaldson?
At this time, Commissioners, Mrs. Cook complaint is, we've registered it. It is a legitimate issue. There's an adjacent development that has all holds on building permits have been withheld until such time as we feel this has been resolved. Yeah, I'll note that it was a special condition in the approval of the original project that was identified as a potential problem that was required by the developer to provide a solution to the potential impact to Mrs. Cook's house. The planner and the engineer had suggested that it had been remedied. It's evidence that it has not, and therefore we have suspended any authorized activity on the development until such time as we believe it's been resolved.
Thank you. I think, can you speak with the developers or their representatives? I think there needs to be, in the meantime, some remediation in her home. Because if she's got issues from that issue that you just mentioned is a legitimate issue, then we can't just expect her to live with what's happened. So I don't know whose district it is or whatever we need to do, but that's a situation that can't stand. I don't think my colleagues would disagree. And so, short of having the developer raise her house up, in the meantime, she needs to be able to live in that house, excuse me, without having health issues.
It's in Commissioner Heatherton's district.
Well, it's in all of our districts.
But
in the county.
we are working, we will, coordinate with our legal department. We have made it a responsibility of the property owner that has created the problem at this time. We will continue to work on whatever available solutions, but we clearly feel that this has been created by and is responsible party needs to take care of it. And at this point in time, we've taken at least the action to not allow them to move forward with any development activities until it's resolved, which is, their project is substantial and has come to a halt as a result.
Well, I'm sure Ms. Cook can appreciate the halt, but it doesn't help her in her real time. I get that it could potentially be a legal issue, but it's a humane issue. So if you want to reach out to us individually, I know you could handle it, but we can't have a woman right before the holidays tell us that she can't live in her house and her grandchildren can't come. So they need to do more than just correct the problem. They need to correct the mess they made. Thank you. Tara Beek Robinson, you are our next request to speak for. Good morning and welcome.
Good Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Tara Beek Robison. I'm a small business owner here in the county. I just wanted to say I would ask for your support for the Palm City Place and patio. As a small business owner, and my business isn't even in Palm City, but I know it would be beneficial for the county. I was involved in the Holiday Village for the Palm City Chamber last weekend, which brought out about 700 people, families with Santa, and we had a great time, and it was right there where the proposed patio is going to be. So it's lovely, and the addition of the patio would just be even better. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Our next request to speak form is Dr. Robert McLaughlin.
Good morning. First off, as a resident of Palm City for the past 10 years and a lifelong resident of the Treasure Coast, I want to thank you all for the support that you have given Palm City with the Map Road project, because it's finally starting to feel like a real community down there. And so we just went to the holiday party last week, and my family had a great time. The feeling of seeing folks that are not in my direct neighborhood that I don't see all the time was really nice. And I think that this addition of the patio is just going to bring more events and more opportunities for us to connect as a community, and I hope that you all support it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Our next request to speak form is Mr. Chuck Smith. Good morning, Chuck.
See y'all again. My name is Chuck Smith, and I'm a resident of downtown Palm City. I live on one of the numbered roads right behind Sherwin-Williams, and I've been there about 40 years. And I just wanted to let you guys know the support that's happening in Palm City right now. As they mentioned, a couple parties that have been going on that have been absolutely packed. I was over at Blooming Freedom last Sunday. Had to be easily 500 people there. Justin Wilson, every time that they throw a party in there, it's packed. Palm City's growing, and it's packed. Now, also on a business level, I own a business in Palm City, and I've been there a long, long time, and I think that this is a good business move for you guys to back this. So anything that you can do to help downtown Palm City, we'd appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Our next request to speak form is Mr. Sean Plymel.
Thank you very much. It's nice to see all of you today, and great to hear from Chuck. I think I was at Chuck's house shortly after he moved in there. I'm a lifelong resident of Palm City as well, and I can remember when my father started working on the Map Road project in the early 2000s, just about the time I was coming back here to raise my family. And to echo the sentiments of everybody else, it was different. You know, I really enjoy the events that I've gone to in downtown Stewart and Jensen and Hobe Sound and even in the Rio area, but it was different. You know, the Christmas Village last year and then building to what we had this year, it just felt different because we are seeing the people that are in our immediate community, and the conversations are a little bit different. You know, we're talking about the fact of the kids that go to Palm City and, oh, my kids went to Palm City. And so there's a different feel when we're able to get together as our more local community. And so I just ask for your support in helping this dream come to a fruition. It's been a lot of years, but it'll be nice to see the finalization of it and the realization of getting to use it. So thank you again for your support.
Thank you, sir. Our next request to speak form is Mr. Peter Sicoli.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Peter Sicoli, Palm City resident and business owner on Map Road. There's not much more I can say about the support. Everybody said it. Downtown Palm City is starting to become a downtown. You know, I took my family to the holiday lights this past weekend or last week, and my wife likened it to a Hallmark Christmas movie without the snow. That's what we need in Palm City. And as a business owner, I would greatly appreciate your support to push the patio at Palm City. Thank you.
It'll have snow next year.
We'll try to, well, we'll see if there's a place to put snow. Our next request to speak form is Ms. Cherie Ramirez. Good morning.
Good morning. Hello, everyone. My name is Cherie Ramirez. I am a resident of Palm City, Old Palm City, off of Cornell. And I have been in Palm City for the past 12 years, been in Martin County for 12 years. So I just attended a commissioner meeting with the Jensen Beach Chamber, and they had a representative there who was talking about livable, walkable communities. And that really struck a chord with me because I'm so excited about the patio in Palm City and the potential there, because just last week, everyone's saying, we attended the Holiday Village. I was able to walk there. I'm excited about the plans that are being developed because I have a daughter and she loves being able to go and hang out with her friends and walk around our little Palm City area with all the trails and everything. I mean, every other community has, downtown Jensen, you have the Pocket in Salerno, Bridge Road, downtown Stewart. And I'm so excited about the potential here for Palm City because I just love Palm City. I love our residents, and I love being able to come together and enjoy that time with my daughter. We get to go and walk down to Shark Shack on Map Road, and I think having more restaurants and shopping and a cool place to hang out for our kids who are teenagers. She's almost a teenager now, so I'm just thankful for this opportunity, and I hope you guys will all support it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Our next request to speak form is Mr. Tyson Waters.
Good morning. Tyson Waters, resident of Palm City. I'm also here to express my support of the Palm City Map Road patio. I think it's a wonderful thing, and I think this is the purpose and the reason you have these CRAs, and I think you've seen it across the county already, that with the development and redevelopment of these CRAs, you have these main streets or just the heart of the community, and I think that's what this is in Map Road. I attended the Holiday Festival last week, and I was able to bring my teenage son, who, that's a rarity. He went reluctantly, but when he was there, we had a great time, and it truly shows the benefit of these CRAs. They're the heart of the community, and you get this community sense. We walked around up and down Map Road, and we saw friends we haven't seen in a long time. We saw acquaintances. He saw friends he hasn't seen in a long time, and it just brings us all together. And it's these little efforts, these little movements by the county. You had the CRA chair come to you earlier, express their support, as well as the NAC member. And it's just little actions by this community, this county, that make all the difference. And I think this Map Road patio will go a long way to make those same improvements. So I would ask for your support. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Our next request to speak form is Missy Campbell. Thanks. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Missy Campbell. I am the Executive Director of the Palm City Chamber of Commerce. So I was in charge of that Holiday Village last week that everybody had such a great time at. And so what we are doing in Palm City is Map Road is becoming our main street, just like Jensen Beach Boulevard and Bridge Road. And so now that we are getting to have our own main street and have our own events, it's really helping our community. And you heard from business people and people that live in Palm City. It's a wonderful space. With the addition of the patio, we'll be able to have green markets. There is plugs there for food trucks. We could have food truck events. And all of these events would be safer for our families if they can go into the grassy area rather than actually getting onto Map Road. We have a 20-foot wide sidewalk there. That's where we put our vendors for our event that we just had. And I think that this is a huge plus that would help for Palm City. I'm a Martin County resident since 1974. I came right when I was born. Let's just go with that. And so all of Martin County is special, and Palm City's working really hard to be special as well. And we want to have our own little niche, and we feel like the patio, this is a great opportunity. We understand that there has to be a little bit of a loan, but it's a loan that's paid back in 2 years, and I can tell you that the people that you're loaning the money to are pretty good about paying their bills. So thank you very much, and I hope we will have your support.
Thank you very much. That's the end of our public request to speak forms. The others that I have are specific to the pet store or the Willis. Is there anyone else that would like to address us? Don Pipes, did I miss Don Pipes? Wow. come on forward, Don. I apologize. I did see it. I must have. Okay.
Hi, my name is Don Pipes. I'm actually a PSL resident. I work here in Stewart. And we spend quite a bit of time here. As one of the other gentlemen said, that getting your teenager out to events with you is challenging. I brought my daughter last year to the Holiday Village. She liked it. She actually asked to bring her boyfriend this year. So, yeah, we got to spend time with both of them. So I think this would be a great benefit, not just for the community and the residents, but also the neighboring communities as a place to come and visit and see Martin County and Palm City. And if we wait, it'll be more expensive. So sooner we can get it done, the better. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now, I see the bailiff is collecting some. Are those for public or are those for specifically for the next agenda item? Okay, I believe they're for the agenda item. Anyone else looking to address us before we close public comment for this morning? Seeing none, is this? I'm assuming this is for the agenda item, correct? Jill, Miss Scott, this is for the agenda item? Thank you. We'll go to commissioner comments now. Commissioner Smith, we will start with you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I'm trying to, after all of that, trying to figure out how I want to organize my comments that I was going to make this morning. So I guess where we'll start is roughly 24 years ago, there was a group that used to get together in downtown Jensen. Frank Waka kind of really was the stimulus behind a lot of it. And the idea came up that we ought to take advantage of a state offering, if you will, to create a community redevelopment authority. And back then, Jensen was the first, and others kind of followed suit and said, hey, we like that idea too, we want to be part of that. And so Salerno came in, Palm City came in, Indian Town came in, Hobe Sound came in, Golden Gate came in, and Ryle came in. And because you can only have one CRA countywide, the idea was to create these neighborhood advisory committees, and so that each part of our community could have their own individual say and idea and design and structure and everything. And so we went through a lot of bumps in the road over the years. There were some quiet years where not too much happened, and then a whole lot of energy got poured back into the CRA program. And so I think what you're hearing this morning is that over the last 20 plus years, there are some amazing success stories that have come from the idea that investing in your community and investing dollars that would otherwise just kind of go into the general fund that are getting specifically targeted to a neighborhood are working. I think the coolest thing in the world is that you would have the community step up and say, not only is it just the Map Road project, but it's downtown Palm City, which if you've never really been engaged in this conversation, I don't know, and I don't mean this to be critical, but I don't know that you could ever point to a place years ago and say, well, that was downtown Palm City. Now there's a place, and now there is a community that can call it home and can call it their special thing, and events can happen and things can happen, and kids with boyfriends can come back, which is kind of fun. Eventually, they will get older, and maybe they will bring their children back. And so all of the work, all the effort, all of the planning, and man, there's been a lot of planning, is really starting to pay off, and it's starting to make a sense of place. And so to all those that have been involved for the 24 years plus, thank you. It's really cool to hear. And then each of us have reported on events that have happened in the holiday season. You have the various parades that go on. And the interesting thing, too, each one of the CRA neighborhoods has, as it always has been, has its own culture, its own character. Palm City is different from Jensen, is different from Stewart, is different from Salerno, is different from Golden Gate, Hobe Sound, and Indian Town. They all have their own thing. But the neat thing is, it's all happening and it's creating a community that takes pride and takes ownership in their downtown. We just had a Jensen Beach Chamber meeting this morning, and I said the same thing. I said, you know, the Taste of Jensen was a fantastic success again this year. I think it's probably in its 20th plus year that we've been doing that. What you don't see behind the scenes in the Taste of Jensen, and I'm sure with the holiday lights and all the parades, are the people in the background that never get any recognition per se because they love doing it, they do it, and it's part of what they enjoy doing. I went by Sunday night last week before the Taste of Jensen, and Julie Bertrand, who's one of our iconic individuals in downtown Jensen. She's lived there forever. She's one of the coolest sign painters in the world. She's out there at 10 o'clock at night wrapping the oak trees with white twinkle lights because she loves doing that. And she wanted that to be, you know, just that extra special detail for the Taste of Jensen that makes all the difference in the world, that when everybody shows up, it's like, hey, wow, that looks really nice. But they don't ever really wonder who put the lights up in the first place.
Elves.
Elves. Like our little elves we had this morning. And a special thanks to our staff. Our staff in so many ways, in all of what we do, they behind the scenes do things that make things happen, that fix things, that we up here say go forth and do so, and then we stop talking about it, and those things magically happen, and the elves come out and do their thing. And so to our staff, thank you for all that you do for our community, especially at this time of year, for all the various community events and holiday events that go on, because it really does make it special. So enough of that for a second. Mr. Chairman, I don't know what you want to do about the next issue. Yesterday, we had our MPO meeting, and I believe Mr. Carmody's, Mr. Carmody's in the front row. We had a lot of discussion about 710 and 714 and the realignment of that intersection. For those of you who don't necessarily eat, live, sleep what we do up here, the MPO is our federal funding board that takes federal dollars passing through FDOT, and we prioritize and plan where those dollars go for roadway networks and projects in Martin County. But it's a separate governance board than this board. So what the MPO votes on, what the MPO says, really has nothing to do with the county commission, even though there are county commissioners that sit on that board. So we made a motion yesterday to send a communication of our preference and of our support for an alignment of 714 that basically will go straight to the end versus if you've been out there at the end, there's a very short, long radius that happens at the end where we've had a slew of accidents and we've had some fatalities that we have been trying to address for probably a better part of 12, 14 years or so. The property owner that owns property on both sides of the intersection has agreed to donate right away, and Mr. Carmody, if you want to come, and that's where I don't know if you want to handle it now or do you want to wait?
No, we'll do it now. It's your commissioner comments, and we can get it done.
Mr. Carmody, I don't know if you want to come up for a second, but Mr. Carmody yesterday represented the property owner, and at the MPO meeting shared with us that the property owner was willing to donate the right-of-way necessary if the alignment were to go straight to 126th Street, I believe.
Yeah, 126, yes.
And so we made a motion to send a letter to the Department of Transportation and to the various jurisdictions that are involved, because the other interesting component of this, where 714 tails off at the end, it actually will end up in Okeechobee, not in Martin County on 710. And so we need to have the concurrence of the District 1 FDOT district, because we are in District 4, which complicates it even a little bit more, and the concurrence of the Okeechobee County Commission, and as well as the property owner. So if we could just have Mr. Carmody maybe add a few words, if that would be okay.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, the summation that Commissioner Smith has is correct. That we've been going through this for approximately a year, and the landowner who was going to be seriously affected by the original proposed route has agreed that if it is aligned as been stated, the County Road 126, we are willing to donate the property that goes through our piece to complete that intersection.
And I think the most important probably key of that well, that's a significantly important part of the conversation. The other important piece is that a traffic signal at that intersection is absolutely a mandatory component from the MPO's perspective. Commissioner Hurd pointed out yesterday that it was a non-starter for her if it didn't, and I don't want to speak for her, but she wants to confirm that from yesterday. And so there's a little bit of a debate whether or not that intersection would warrant a traffic light because of the volumes and so on. And so from a safety perspective, and the number one issue with the Florida Department of Transportation is zero fatalities and safety. And so under the guise that safety should trump any warrant study whatsoever, we are requesting also that that letter include that sort of documentation that a traffic light be warranted. It is an SIS road, which is Strategic Intermodal System of the state of Florida. So it plays a significant role in the state, and for all, again, the more reason why we believe that that is the safest and the best idea relative to the 714, 710 intersection. And so I would make a motion that we ask staff to draft a letter on behalf of the County Commission to support the realignment of 714 to 710 as presented yesterday at the MPO, with the inclusion of a traffic signal and any other improvements at that intersection.
Commissioner Hurd.
And I would add that the letter needs to go to FDOT, Department 1, Department 4, Okeechobee Commissioners, and the Heartland TPO. Anybody else?
State FDOT.
State, probably. Department
okay.
Would probably be important.
Our delegates.
Who?
Our delegates?
Our state delegation, the reps and the senator. Can't hurt.
Sure. And also, I guess, to be signed by the chair of the County Commission.
Second.
Thank you. Before we vote, I would say that up until recently, all of that area was in my district before a land grab by Commissioner Jenkins.
I knew that was coming.
So I'm very familiar.
Thank you for all that was going to be part of the narrative.
I also served on the MPO, but in fairness to Commissioner Hurd, I gave up my seat recently, so I was not at yesterday's meeting, but my three colleagues and Commissioner Hetherington all serve on the MPO as well. But I am familiar with this, and Mr. Carmody, I appreciate your efforts. The landowner out there happens to be one of the nicest people you could ever meet. He was very, very generous and had always said that he would donate the property on both sides of 710, and you can imagine donating property. As long as it was a configuration, he's a professional landscape architect, so he's familiar with some of these kind of issues, was to what he thought was appropriate. And we went through several gyrations, and the couple that seemed to be gaining steam were not the ones that he liked. So instead of going to litigation, we're going to donation, which I think makes sense for all of us. The other thing for residents that are not familiar with this area, if you are coming from Okeechobee trying to find your way back into Martin County on 710, even if you knew where you were going, it's always very difficult to remember, like, where is this little secret spot through the bushes, which is 714. So I think as quickly as we can get this going. Now remember, what we're talking about here won't happen for 5 or 6 years, because at that level at the state FDOT, that's how they work. But today, it will be at least the first day that we get it going in the right direction. Commissioner Smith, you will have the final word before the vote.
Thank you. And the only other thing, Ms. Woods, if it, and Jack, between you and Sarah, if there, I would imagine FDOT is going to want something probably in writing of some sort from the owners agreeing to this alignment, agreeing to whatever has to be done. And if that can somehow be facilitated, that'd be great.
I will work with her.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have a motion by Commissioner Smith, seconded by Commissioner Hurd. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? The motion carries 4-0.
Chairman, thank you for all the
Thank
time.
you. My pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Jenkins, it's your turn.
So I want to echo Commissioner Smith's comments. There's not much to add to that.
About Palm City?
About the CRA. And other than the idea of the inception of the countywide CRA, I think, began in Hope Sound. But anyway, that's just me. There was a conversation in the mid-'90s.
Did have the first CRA.
Huh?
Benson did have the first.
Well, you know what, you may not beat us to the point, but Anyway, after watching the inception of the Stewart CRA and its original achievements, that was a conversation in at least South County. And to see those efforts that are over 20 years old come to fruition is very satisfying. Not only has Palm City created a downtown, Hope Sound, we've only really got one phase of our project done, but are looking forward to our A1A project. But that has really developed, and the last few years that we've had our Christmas parade is a prime example of that. It really has brought our community in, and anything we can do to support that, it's redevelopment, people reinvesting in old, worn down thing. It's really amazing to watch, and that's what it's designed for. So I couldn't be happier with what we got going on, and our CRA staff and county staff are doing an outstanding job. So with that, other than Merry Christmas to everybody.
Thank you.
That's all I got.
Commissioner Hurd.
Merry Christmas.
Mr. Donaldson. Ms. Woods. I will, for the sake of time, yield my comments. And that item, see how it rolls. That item will be an agenda item during our departmental number 1. I know there are people here. I would take these comments as positive comments that, we're not going to fall off a cliff later in the day.
You want to take it up now?
Can we do that without Ms. Manning being here to present it?
It's your
decision. Fine. We'll take a moment, I am hoping. I will just mention that, Donna, can you bring that item up, please? It's like a little Christmas miracle. Is this it right here?
Yes, this is item, this is permission to, the first item.
No, that's not it.
Is, let's see,
We're off script here.
I believe it's the next, it's under contracts, yes. It's for contract and award, so it's department number 2.
Page 961.
Thank you. We're going to take this item up. We'll save Ms.
So it's Palm City Park improvements. And this is an item to both approve the contract and allow, as was stated earlier.
Got you. You're trying to steal the thunder of our team. Let's take a moment to introduce Ms. Corris and Mr. Pistorius. They are the folks behind the scenes that Commissioner Smith was talking about that do a lot of the heavy lifting. If we just allow them 2 minutes. Welcome. We're on the right track, so hit it.
We are. So this is an item brought forward to you, as Mr. Donaldson said, to approve the contract. The contractor is DePompeo Construction. They come to us from our southern regions. And we are also looking for an approval of a loan from general fund to be paid back in 2 years, which I think everyone had heard earlier, for the Palm City patio, which would pretty much be the very next piece and a very important piece of our community redevelopment vision in Palm City.
Thank you. And thank you for all your efforts. The patio, for those that are not familiar, we're calling the whole area Palm City Place and the patio at Palm City Place, which I will give Mr. Stokas. He was the one that was really pushing for the word patio, and we've included it for him. It is, if you're familiar with Map Road, there was a small white historic building there that we moved to another location and saved it. And that area now will have a small gazebo for a little jazz quartet. It's not meant to be a large, big park. And there'll be concrete ping pong, concrete tables with checkerboard motifs so you could sit and play checkers or chess. It'll have concrete cornhole. There's already a walking path around the entire. It's actually a stormwater retention pond, but it's so pretty, we're calling it Lake Centel. It's just going to be a place where people can gather. There'll be a lit fountain. There'll be a fishing pier. That, for whatever reason, that protected waterway has fish that are as long as your arm in there. And so we just, as the commissioners had said, it's been a long time coming. I hope for the support of my colleagues, and I'm very thankful for the community support, and especially the two individuals and all the rest that worked on this. I'd entertain a motion.
Move to approve staff's recommendation.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion by Commissioner Jenkins to approve staff's recommendation for this item, seconded by Commissioner Smith. All those in favor signify. All those opposed? The motion carries 4-0. Thank you very much. You'll all be invited to the grand opening. And thank you. With snow. Commissioner, Mr. Donaldson?
Just for procedure.
Your mic is not on. Your mic is not on.
The remainder of Department Number 2 will be held at its regularly scheduled time.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, I apologize, and I appreciate the patience of those folks that were waiting. We're now going to take agenda item public hearing number 4. Consider adoption of an ordinance amending Chapter 9, Animals, Article 4, Section 9.87.A.19b, General Ordinances, Martin County Code to extend the amortization period for existing pet stores to June 30th, 2023. It'll be presented by Ms. Sarah Woods, our attorney, and Mr. George Stokas, our assistant county administrator. Both of you are recognized.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Sarah Woods, Martin County Attorney. On September 27th of this year, the board directed the staff to send the ordinance prohibiting the sale of dogs, cats, and rabbits back to the Animal Care and Control Oversight Board, which for shorthand we call the ACCOB, for public input and review. The ACCOB recommended that the ordinance be amended to extend the amortization period to June 30th, 2023. I'll give a brief outline of the background of the timeline that led up to the adoption of the ordinance. In December of 2021, the board was asked by an animal rescue organization to consider an ordinance banning the retail sale of pets. In February, the board directed staff to develop an ordinance which prohibited the sale of retail sale of dogs and cats by pet stores. County staff contacted the Humane Society of the Treasure Coast, who arranged for a meeting with the Humane Society of the United States to provide background of proposed or of similar ordinances that have been adopted by Florida County. This was between February and April of 2022. On April 21st, at a public meeting, the ACCOB reviewed draft ordinances prohibiting the sale of dogs and packs by surrounding counties, including Palm Beach, Indian River, and St. Lucie, and unanimously recommended adoption of the ordinance. There was then a public notice made for consideration of the ordinance by the BOCC, and on June 7th, the board adopted the ordinance recommended by the ACCOB. But at the public hearing in June, the board reduced the amortization period to December 31st. At the end of June, letters were sent to pet stores informing them of the ordinance. In September 13th, the board asked for an agenda item to discuss issues related to the ordinance. The board conducted a public discussion of the ordinance and directed that staff send it back to the ACCOB for input prior to the end of the year, which is when the ordinance would have the effective date. The staff notified all the county pet stores and pet rescue organizations. The ACCOB conducted a publicly noticed workshop to provide a forum for public input. They also the ACCOB was provided public input, letters, emails, federal and state records, and recommended changes to the ordinance. That was in October. In November, the ACCOB had November 17th, a public meeting, and following public input, review of submitted documents, and careful deliberations, they voted unanimously to extend the amortization period of the existing ordinance to June of 2023, which was consistent with their original recommendation. On November 22nd, this board authorized advertise of a public hearing to consider amendment of the ordinance consistent with your Animal Care and Control Advisory Board recommendation. All of the documents that have been provided to the ACCOB have been attached. I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Stokas to give a brief outline. That's what the board would like about what was submitted to the ACCOB for their review.
So, Mr. Chair, after the board directed the staff to go back to the Animal Care Control Oversight Board, ACCOB, staff did take the time. Ms. Woods, and a couple other attorneys met with both the pet store representatives, Mr. Rosenberg, as well as Mr. Kozel. Staff took an attempt to heard from some of the public that felt that not all the attachments were being attached to the agenda items. So we took careful steps to make sure that everything that was submitted within certain deadlines was attached to every item. What I can tell you is on this item, we did not attach the most latest letters that were received from Mr. Kozel because those are on your commission email records. But the first one is your actual public hearing draft ordinance. Then there is a list of all the pet stores in Martin County. There's a copy of the letter that was sent on June 29th to those businesses. Then the next is the farm dog rescue packet that was originally received last year. One email, or a number of emails, I apologize, it's sideways, from Humane Society, as well as another email that shows pictures of conditions of supposed puppy mills or breeders, as well as, and this was also handed to both councils of both sides have this. These are text messages and other discussions in regards to that. Further information from the Humane Society as to how they do a puppy-friendly pet store transition program. We also have an email from Miss Virginia Sherlock that has the arrest record for I want to make sure I get this correctly, Mr. Ryan Gossel that was attached. Another email from Miss Sherlock that goes on further to talk about animal shelter operator, as well as some of the certificates of veterinary inspection for an animal and so forth for your review. Another email from Ms. Sherlock that has to do with, this actually might be a copy, I apologize, it's a double. I must have double-clicked that one. We have a letter from Mr. Kozel in regards to Wags About You. We also have some email correspondence and recommended local ordinance from Mr. Rosenberg. And by the way, all of this was provided to the ACCOB. We then have a very large and extensive packet from the Noble Paw that we had to break up into a couple different sections here, but all their documentation, as well as, and we're going to keep going through that, some of the rules and regulations that they provided. Then there is a copy of the temporary injunction that I'm sure legal counsel can talk about with, I have a hard time pronouncing it, Kaya Ventures, we'll call it, and Manatee County. We also then have some emails that came from, where did we get this? This was from I believe, Palm Beach County to our county attorney in regards to puppy stores in Palm Beach County. So I just wanted to make it for the record that staff has tried to include every single correspondence it has received in regards to this issue and has tried to make it attached to the actual board item as well as the ACCOB agenda item.
So the issue before you today is whether to extend the amortization period for pet stores currently selling dogs, cats, and rabbits until June 30th of 2023. This is a legislative matter. It is subject to a fairly debatable standard of review. I included a definition of fairly debatable. Staff's recommendation is that the board adopt the proposed ordinance. And I don't know if Donna wants to put up the ordinance. The change to the ordinance is pretty minimal. You go to chapter or section 9.87, capital A, 19B, and in that subsection B to section 19A, all we're changing is before it had an end date to continue the retail sale of rabbits, dogs, and cats until December 31st of 2022, and the proposed ordinance changes that to June 30th of 2023. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Mr. Chair, I also want just to add in there at the last minute that staff's recommendation is also the recommendation from the Animal Care
Correct.
Control Oversight Board. They've deliberated and would like to, they had recommended to go for the 6-month extension to June of 2023.
Thank you. Questions from my colleagues for staff? Seeing none at this time. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I only have 4 requests to speak forms. I did say before we started that if there is a representative from either or each of the pet stores, we only have 2 in the county that this would affect, I would give them a little bit more time to make their case beyond 3 minutes. If you are that person, let me know. Be 1 from each. Thank you, sir. Susan Battle. Okay, the first request to speak form is Miss Jill Scott.
He wants to go first.
Do I have one from him? All right. Okay, you have to come to the microphone so that we can have you on the record. Your attorney? Well, I have somebody else that was already looking to go last, so I'm trying to be as accommodating as possible. I'll take Mr. Michael Circus. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. I don't care if I'm first or last. That's quite all right. Michael Circus, Palm City. I came in front of this board about 6 months ago when this ordinance first arrived, and I'm going to reiterate what I said back then. The manner in which we make our decisions is just as important, if not more important, than the decisions we actually do come to arrive. In a nutshell, the ends do not justify the means. Over the last 6 months, we've had multiple discussions about this ordinance. In the past, I've talked about my concerns that there's a significant financial tie between the county as well as the chief authors of this ordinance, being National, State, and Local Humane Society. I've also talked about my concerns that this was done retroactively after 2 pet shops had already arrived in the county. But quickly, I just want to state that for those of you who weren't at the meeting on November 17th at the ACCOB, the ordinance, one of the chief authors of this ordinance, National, State, and Local Humane Society, a representative from the Humane Society openly admitted that this was nothing personal, but their intention was very clearly to shut down the existing 2 shops. In addition to that, of the 5 ACCOB members, 2 of them openly admitted that their intention, no matter what the end result is, their intention is to see the existing 2 shops to disappear. Now, if you weren't there, this was recorded for MCTV. If you're not able to pull it up on MCTV, there's multiple people in the audience who recorded it in its entirety as well. The reason why I bring this up is because an administrative law judge does not care about the legality of the existing shops as individuals. They are going to care about the biased nature in which this ordinance was taken forward. To openly admit on camera that your intention is to shut down otherwise legally operating facilities, to do that demonstrates there is a clear bias against them, and as such, that is in direct conflict with your legal sufficiency review. If this does go to litigation, I sincerely believe we will lose. And as a taxpaying resident of Martin County, I don't want to pay for a losing lawsuit. If you revoke this now and go forward from an honest, transparent starting point, you drastically reduce the ability of anybody that's against this to take you to court. More importantly, if you do lose it and you end up with a court precedent against you, every decision you make going forward in this realm will be under a microscope. There's no reason for us in a pros versus con debate to go forward with the ordinance as is. Instead, we can go back, do this from the get-go the right way, and not have to worry about paying for a lawsuit in the future. I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Our next request to speak form is Miss Susan Beatty. Good morning, ma'am.
I actually wanted to go last also. Anyway, I wanted to hear what other people had to say.
There's only a couple more.
I'm going to say that I feel that this extension and extension is giving these owners the opportunity to, holiday season is here, Christmas, Easter, we're going to get another influx of animals. The Humane Society is taking hundreds and if not thousands of animals taking care of them. These are animals, a lot of them started out in pet stores or from puppy mills or from breeders, and they end up at the shelter. We are a no-kill shelter, and we take care of the animals. It is illogical to keep bringing in more when we are struggling to get, and I speak for myself, not for the shelter, but as a volunteer, I see that it is a continuous entering of animals that are displaced, unwanted. And I don't know how many of you may have been here, but in the beginning of the year 2000, we had a incident in Palm City Farms of a very, we thought, a breeding facility that started out. They had horses that were very beautiful on property, very nice house, seemed to be credible people, but in the backyard, they had Lhasa Apsos. And it was reported that these animals were not being cared for properly. I was a civilian allowed to go when there was a raid at the property, and these animals were stuck in little cages, 3 on top of each other, with no separation in between the levels. And the animals had feces, urine from the top down, trickling through the bottom. This was hidden incident in it was a hidden entity in Palm City. And who knows how many more there are all over. These are puppy mills. And as long as we have stores here that are selling these animals, the potential for this to keep on going is very real. And so I am urging you, you had one pet store come in, another pet store come in, and who knows how many more. This is going to be open season here. And we have a shelter that is trying so diligently to take care of animals that are displaced and unwanted. And I would ask you to please reconsider this amendment and just end it before it gets so much out of control. With the case with the Lhasa Apsos, there were so many dogs that the shelter could not handle it, and the fairgrounds was used as a staging area. All the dogs were sent there. There were a lot of volunteers, there were groomers, there were volunteers to take care of these animals on a daily basis. And please do not allow a potential situation to occur again in this county. Thank you.
ma'am. Our next request to speak form is Miss Jill Scott. Sir, I have your request to speak form as well. Miss Scott, are you interested in speaking, or he's going to speak on your behalf? So I'm going to put this aside then. This is your chance to speak. You're giving it up? Correct. I just want to be clear. You can come up and speak for 3 minutes, and then your representative, I'm going to be a little more lenient with. If you'd like to make your own comment, I don't want you to feel that you cannot speak. Okay. Now, you had asked to speak towards the end. Are you ready to go?
I'm fine.
If you could, your name is?
Gary Rosenberg.
Mr. Rosenberg, what I'd like to do is give you 6 minutes because you're representing one of the entities.
I appreciate it.
Trying to be as fair as I can with you, sir.
Yes,
So
sir.
I don't know, Mr. Donaldson, do you have the ability to set that for 6 minutes?
I did.
Fantastic, sir. You are recognized.
So my name's Gary Rosenberg. So I'm an attorney. I represent the Noble Paw and Jill Scott, along with her daughter, Rachel. There's an easy way, I think, to speak about this and talk about this without threats of litigation, which I think just costs everybody money. So I'm going to talk to you on the basis of fairness and equity only. There were only 2 pet stores in Martin County, 2 stores selling puppies. I know my client doesn't sell cats or rabbits, so I'm going to deal with the sale of puppies right now. It seems to me that when you first all were notified that you wanted to look into this ordinance banning, that the person who should have been at the table, or the people at the table with you, with the Humane Society, was Jill Scott. It seems fair that everything we do and everything you're supposed to do is based on fairness to the community. Yet they were left out. There wasn't a single notice to the Noble Paw that you were considering this ordinance. Why not? Why isn't that the first thing that a business owner should be notified of when you are considering an ordinance shutting down their business? I'll tell you what happened, though. The first notice given to them is after you pass the ordinance. How is that fair? How is that equitable? How is it that we're not talking about thousands of pet stores you had to send a letter to. There's 2. And the letter they received is, we're shutting you down. So they now have to spend their money hiring attorneys to go over the facts that were presented to you. And I'll say to you now, I can stand here for 6 minutes and ask you what fact was presented to you, and the answer is none. Because I can stand up at any podium, anywhere, and accuse people of doing things that aren't moral, are reprehensible, are criminal. But it's not enough just to say it. There wasn't one piece, because we've gotten records requests, not one piece of solid evidence given to you concerning any of these allegations. Here, Miss McGee stands up and tells you about Lhasa Apsos sold in the back of a horse farm. What does that have to do with Jill Scott or the Noble Paw? 0. You can walk into her store, you have an animal control under the sheriff. They have teeth that can say, we're going to give you violations. We're going to say you're not treating your animals humanely. You're not doing what's right. You're selling puppy mill dogs. Here are the facts we have. Here's your citation. Come to court. Not a single citation has ever been given to the Noble Paw. Now, I know 2 or 3 of you have gone to the shop. Have any of you walked in the back of the shop where the puppies are kept? Do you know we submitted 12 or 14-page amendment to the ordinance that Miss Scott wrote herself, saying how she wanted to care for animals, the size of the kennels, the type of kennels, the amount of water, how many times the kennels must be cleaned, over and over on a 14-page ordinance, which you can tell me the board looked at, and I'm going to tell you they didn't look at it. They never even considered it. Now, what concerns me more than anything is that you allow the Humane Society, who this county, I understand, pays for because they're the shelter of this county. But they have a seat at the table. They have a vested interest in keeping puppy stores out of this county. And the vested interest for them is, we can call them a 501c Corp, but nobody's naive to believe that they don't make money. So do you believe that today, as we stand here, the puppies sold at the Noble Paw by Jill Scott are the dogs sitting in the Humane Society? Do you believe that a dog purchased for $2,000 or $3,000 as a specialty miniature poodle, a mixed breed with a poodle that we all know are these designer dogs, do you think they're sitting in the Humane Society shelter? They are not. What sits in those shelters are mixed breed pit bulls and dogs that are not well cared for. I challenge any one of you to say that any puppy sold by the Noble Paw was maltreated, was malnourished, was sick, should never have been sold. But yet, I watched all your board meetings. I watched them. And I listened. Was that six?
Your time is up.
Finish your sentence, sir.
Yes, sir. So I ask you, the 6 months also gives the chance to Miss Scott and her daughter and the Noble Paw to come to you and say, look, here are all these allegations that our dogs are sick, our dogs are turned in, our dogs are from puppy mills. I'm going to give you everything. Let the Humane Society give you the same facts I'm giving you, not just statements, facts. And I ask you, as anyone would ask, any commission, any judge, any arbitrator, to look to see if the statements are based in facts or just generalizations. I thank you for your time and giving me an extra 3 minutes.
Thank you, sir. We have 2 requests to speak form left. If anyone else is interested in having an opportunity to speak to us, I need to have your form. Our next request to speak form is Mr. Frank Valente. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, everybody. My name's Frank Valenti. I'm the president and CEO of the Humane Society of the Treasure Coast, and I've served in that capacity since May of 2007, and I'm currently the vice chairman of the board of directors of the Florida Association of Animal Welfare Organizations, which is the largest organization of nonprofit animal welfare organizations working in the state of Florida. And I'm here, to first off say that we our Humane Society, but also the animal welfare community in Martin County supports the unanimous recommendation of the Animal Advisory Board to this Board of County Commissioners to extend the grace period for another 6 months till June. You know, it's an interesting thing in these hearings. There's a lot of information that is put out and stated as fact. And the facts are that this was never about these 2 stores. This ordinance was brought forward because there are 85 other ordinances in the state of Florida that do the same thing. Communities that have high ethical values do not want to be the destination for products that may come from places that practice cruelty with animals. It's just that simple. There has been ample evidence provided to the Animal Advisory Board that a number of the dogs that arrived to these stores came from such places that have been cited by the USDA. That's a fact. This was never about the store owners, but their own comments in public meetings unfortunately turned a spotlight onto them as well. And so there's information about their past as well. And, you know, I find that the most compelling reason to move forward with this is that there are 16 other pet retail stores in Martin County that do not sell pets as part of their business model. There is a free transition program available to both of these stores to transition to humane retail pet sales. Dozens of stores have actually adopted that transition program and have been able to expand their business. So this ordinance never was designed to put these 2 businesses out of business, as is contended today. These 2 ordinances were designed specifically to prohibit Martin County from being a destination for animals that were produced in mass reproductive settings from cruel circumstances, pulled from their mothers, shipped across country so they could find a safe haven in retail stores. That's why this was done. I'm very grateful to the county staff, to the county attorney's office, to the Animal Advisory.
Time is up. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, in the interest of utmost fairness, I want everyone to be given the opportunity. So I know I had asked you, Ms. Scott, if you were interested in speaking. You declined, but one second, please, just so people that are following along understand why I'm doing what I'm doing. You had declined, but I understand that you would like to utilize your 3 minutes, and I'm going to allow it, so please come forward. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm Jill Scott. Thank you for giving me that 3 minutes. I apologize for the miscommunication. I just want to say that I agree with everybody who's gotten up here and said they don't want these dogs from puppy mills. I'm asking this commission in fairness in complete fairness and legality, give us this 6 months to prove to you that the allegations that have been turned in are false. We know stores get puppy mill dogs. We don't. We're not a chain. We're not a part of a group. We work with our breeders, and we are happy to prove that. We don't want those dogs either. And we got into this business coming from animal health care, knowing things were done wrong. We came here to our home to do it the right way. Give us that opportunity. This last 6 months has given us the opportunity to prove nothing, to speak in public comment periods. How can you defend your whole ethics and morals and business in these kind of hearings? We want to prove that. We do not sell those kind of dogs, and we want that chance to prove it. And we can. Thank you. Thank you for the time.
Thank you, ma'am. Our next request to speak for is Ms. Sean Kelly. Good morning.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Sean Kelly. I'm a 58-year resident of Jensen Beach, Martin County. I am also a volunteer with the Humane Society of the Treasure Coast. I wasn't going to speak because I thought that everything pretty much spoke for itself. I will reiterate Mr. Valenti's comments that to me, the entire point of the ordinance is not to target any specific business or even type of business. It comes out of Martin County's desire to become and be a no-kill county. In order to do that, we don't need more animals coming in from outside than we already have. I had to come up here and refute the statement that all we have are pit bulls and mixed breeds. And I'm sorry if I lose my composure, because I'm there every week, a couple times a week. I see all the different types of dogs we have. I currently have a purebred Yorkshire Terrier, a purebred Cocker Spaniel, both adopted from the Humane Society of the Treasure Coast. These dogs were someone's dog to begin with. We usually don't get puppies that are purebreds like that, but the point of the whole thing is, eventually, and sadly, some of these dogs do end up in shelters. Prior to that, we just lost our oldest dog a few weeks ago, and she also was a purebred, what's called a PBGV. It's a Petite Basset Griffon Vendienne. You see them in the dog shows. So to say that we don't have any dogs like the type of dogs they sell is just an untrue statement. And I thank you for your time. I think everything else you guys already know. And hopefully we can get to this point where we don't have more unwanted animals than we already have. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Our last request to speak for, and then we're going to close the public comment portion, is Ms. Casey Ingram Mullen. Ms. Mullen, good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. Casey Ingram Mullen. Enacting this ordinance does not protect the health, safety, and welfare of your residents. In fact, I believe it does just the opposite. By prohibiting these stores from providing us with a safe and legal place to purchase puppies, you are forcing residents to risk their safety and their wallets by going to random websites, Craigslist, and locations we don't even know are safe. In fact, the Humane Society even posted a document on its website that the BBB created in 2017 titled Puppy Scams: How Fake Online Pet Sellers Steal from the Unsuspecting Pet Buyers. Friday, an article was published warning consumers of these online scams, and I'd like to share a few excerpts with you. According to an update of the Better Business Bureau study, puppy scams remain consistently profitable for scammers. Consumer losses are expected to exceed $2 million. Pet scams reported to BBB are on track to be 18% of all reported online shopping frauds. The average monetary loss is $850, and that is up 60% since 2017. And you know what else is up since 2017? Pet store bans, 55%. Puppy scammers lure people in with fake websites. They hijack photos of cute puppies that don't exist and then charge for deposits and shipping fees and etc. On PetScams.com, there are 40 pet scam sites listed for Florida alone. They use domains like Puppies Online, I Heart Mini Aussies, Florida Cute Puppies, Jack Russell Palace. You get the point. With brick and mortar stores in our county, we know we are going to a safe and legal business, one that you have oversight over so that residents don't get scammed like they did in Indian River County. Secondly, banning pet retail stores has done nothing, and I'm going to repeat that, has done nothing to end abusive pet mills. The proof is in the Humane Society's numbers. The first ban became effective in 2007. That year, CBS interviewed the Humane Society, and in that interview, it was stated, puppy mills are big business. Over 2 million puppies from 10,000 puppy mills are sold annually. Today, quoted directly from the Humane Society website, and I'll provide you the documentation, there are more than 10,000 puppy mills in the U.S. After 15 years of enacting ordinances across the nation, including statewide bans in 5 states, there is no reduction in puppy mills. Ask yourself, why isn't the Humane Society targeting the abusers? What are we doing here? It's a very clever tactic to base your success on the number of pet stores you shut down, where reportedly only 4% of all puppies are sold through, rather than the abusive puppy mills they claim they're stopping. Over the last 15 years, only 18% of Florida's municipalities and counties have enacted this type of ordinance. Please rethink the ramifications of this ordinance, commissioners. There's a better way to tackle animal abuse, and in that sample ordinance you received, pet stores are even willing to pay for animal control to come and inspect their shops. Let's unite all the parties, just like you did for the Humane Society of the Treasure Coast, and adopt an ordinance that will target the abusers, but allow good businesses to remain in our community that your community does use and want. In closing, I share with you words from the incoming president of your partner organization, the BDB, and some of you were there to hear this. Martin County is open for business. Businesses are welcome. I hope that's the case here today. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Comes back to the board. Questions for staff from the board? I have a, Ms. Woods, I have a logistical question for you. With Commissioner Hetherington not being here, can you explain how votes and ties and what that would mean?
Well, the approval of the ordinance would require, you have a quorum, but approval of the ordinance would require a majority. So in this case, it would require three votes. If it's a tie, then no action is taken, and so that effectively is equal to a no vote.
And if it's a tie and no action is taken, what does that mean for this specific
The
agenda?
ordinance will go into effect. There will be no, there would be no, as currently in place, which is a December 31st, 2022 effective date for the amortization period. If the ordinance is passed, if there's 3 votes to approve the proposed ordinance, that would extend the amortization period for 6 months till the end of June of 2023.
Thank you. Commissioners?
Does staff want to add anything else? Then I'm going to move approval of staff's recommendation that the ordinance be extended until June 30, 2023.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Hurd for staff's recommendation, seconded by Commissioner Jenkins. Before we vote, I'd just like to make a point in regards to the process. Our first public speaker this morning spoke about the process inasmuch as the result of the vote. And some of the other speakers mentioned how in the beginning of this process they felt it was an unfair process, and I will agree. When we originally had the agenda item in June, I was surprised personally that there was no representatives here from the other organizations, from the 2 affected pet stores. Having done that, we then brought the item, having heard that they were not notified, and I did speak to our staff, who said that traditionally we do not necessarily, there's a public notice, there's a legal process for notification of a public hearing, but that in most cases, if you're talking about tobacco or other issues, it would involve hundreds of retailers. I felt personally in this particular case, having it only be 2 affected parties, we could have reached out. And so that's when we did reach out, brought it back as an item, came before the board, gave the affected parties and members on both sides of the conversation to come forward and make public comment at a meeting. When was that? In
Mr. Chair, we allowed, there was extended public comment for the ACCOB.
I'm not talking, I'm going in chronological order. The first meeting that came before us was a couple of months afterwards, correct?
Oh, hold on, I can go back to that timeline, Mr.
I believe it
It's
was
not-
September.
I'm just trying to lay the groundwork so that the process is what it was. So it came before us. The suggestion and recommendation from the commission was that we send it back to our ACOB, our Animal Control Oversight Board, and that I remember saying that make sure that the affected parties were notified for their opportunity to come and speak. I do have a memory stick of the video meeting. It did not work in my computer as it was formatted, but I've had an opportunity to read everything, and I'm assuming I would know my colleagues did the same. The binder that was left for us from one of the pet store owners, I thought was a very complete and well-prepared item, and I appreciate that you would go through that effort. Ms. Mullins sent us, I believe, a 9-page. I read it all. I know my colleagues do, especially on these very, very important items where decisions are important. I read through every bit of the documentation that came, the emails. It went before the ACCOB, and both sides were given the opportunity to speak with legal representation. And I think it was extended more than 3 minutes. That's why I wanted to do the same here. I did have an extensive phone conversation with Mr. Kozel, who is representing the other organization. He did tell me that he would not be able to be here today. We probably spoke for over an hour on the phone to make sure that I had an opportunity to hear completely what I needed to hear. Then it was a recommendation made from the ACCOB to come back to this meeting, and that's what we've been doing here. I wanted both sides, the supporters for and against, to have an opportunity to speak, but I also wanted a representative to have more time than just being afforded 3 minutes like you or anyone else that could come for or against. I do know that the opportunity for the additional pet store was given the same opportunity that the Noble Paul was given today, and they're not here, which is obviously their prerogative. There are a lot of remedies and opportunities and for both parties to move into the future with this. So I'm not necessarily speaking about how the decision will go, yes or no. I just want, at the time Commissioner Smith was the chair, and then now I am, to make sure that at least from our perspective, the process was fair. Now, you might not be happy with the decision for or against, but as much as we have the flexibility to give people an opportunity to make their case, I believe that we did that, in my personal opinion. That being said, we have a motion by Commissioner Hurd for staff's recommendation, seconded by Commissioner Jenkins. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? The motion carries 4-0 with Commissioner Hetherington absent. Thank you very much. We will take our 10:30 closed captioning break and be back at 10:45. Okay, we are back with our December 13th, 2022 commission meeting. We've stopped for our mid-morning closed captioning break. We're going to move a couple of items around to accommodate some of the folks that are here in person. Our next agenda item will be public hearing quasi-judicial number 1, request for approval for revised master and phasing plan and revised Phase 1 final site plan for Willis Custom Yachts A041-013. It'll be presented by Ms. Elizabeth Noggle, but it is quasi-judicial, so I will ask my colleagues if they've had any ex parte communications. Commissioner Smith.
I do, and they're filed.
Thank you. Commissioner Jenkins.
Do, and they've been filed.
Commissioner Hurd.
I do, and they've been filed.
I also have some, and they've been filed. Anyone that's going to be offering any testimony, please stand to be sworn in.
Raise your right hands. Do you swear or affirm that the evidence you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Are there any interveners?
No, no interveners.
Ms. Noggle, you're not intervening, sir, correct? Do you have your work history and a copy of the agenda item?
I do.
Let the record show it's being submitted. Are there any return receipts that need to be submitted? And if not, if you could state your name and tell us what the situation is.
Tyson Waters from the law firm of Fox McCluskey on behalf of the applicant. The notices were returned at the LPA meeting for both that meeting and this one, so they've been submitted.
Thank you. Ms. Elder, I believe that was everything, correct?
Yes, you covered it all. Thank you.
Ms. Noggle, you are recognized.
Good morning. Elizabeth Noggle, Principal Planner. We are here to discuss Willis Custom Yachts. Before you is a request for a revised master plan, revised phasing plan, and revised Phase 1 final site plan to expand the marine maintenance and marine-related manufacturing use for the existing Willis Custom Yachts project. The site is 66.2 acres. It's bisected by the St. Lucie River. Phase 1 is the southern parcel. It's west of 95, east of the Turnpike, at the north end of Southwest Jack James Drive in Stewart. Phase 2 is located in Palm City at the south end of Southwest Swallowtail Way, which connects to Southwest High Meadow Avenue in Palm City. In June of this year, a future land use amendment to extend a commercial waterfront future land use to previously abandoned right-of-ways and a rezoning for a portion of Phase 1, the southern parcel, from limited industrial to general industrial was approved. The use of marine maintenance is a targeted industry business. This aerial shows the existing site, a slightly older aerial, but it shows the existing 48,929 square foot marine maintenance facility with covered dry and wet slips. Parcel 2 is the northern parcel. It is undeveloped with existing access, as mentioned, from Swallowtail Way. Phase 1 is the subject to final site plan before you today. The proposal includes maintaining existing marine maintenance building and the wet and dry slips, a new canopy over existing excavated wet slips, proposed 40,000 square foot trade and skilled services building, including a 2,050 square foot restaurant. The restaurant is intended to serve Willis Custom Yachts and the directly adjacent industrial uses. And a proposed new 102,972 square foot marine manufacturing warehouse building. I did make a slight error in my agenda item and the presentation that was included. Attached as the agenda item, I had 100,972. There was no error in the public notice. It did not include square footage, but I did want to put that on the record. This is the final site plan for Phase 2. I know it's challenging to see, so I'll point out a couple of the buildings that are on this plan. Here we have the existing marine maintenance and canopy building that exist on site today. Directly west adjacent is a proposed new canopy, which will be over 3 dry slips and 4 existing wet slips. In the project's southwest corner is the proposed marine manufacturing building. In the southeast corner is the proposed trade and skilled services building and the restaurant. The arrows that'll pop up on the screen here are showing the existing access to the site at the end of Southwest Jack James Drive. And there are 2 new access points proposed with this application. So the parking that will be east of this proposed Trade and Skilled Services building will be open to the public and serve the restaurant in the Trade Skilled Services building, and south of this building will be a gated access to the facility. Phase 2 is before you for master plan approval only. Same mistake that I wanted to point out, the marine manufacturing building is proposed at 102,972 square feet. It's a proposal for a 10,000 square foot office building. It will include excavation of 22 wet slips with a covered canopy. The site does have an existing wetland and upland preserve area maintenance plan, or PAMP area. Phase 2 will require a final site plan approval, which will come before you. This is the Phase 2 master plan. You can see the existing wetland and upland preserve area, which is in an existing conservation easement. In the center, the south center of the site is the marine manufacturing building. East of that is the 10,000 square foot office building and the 22 wet slips. And this is showing the existing connection from Southwest Swallowtail Way. The site was reviewed for commercial design requirements in Article 4, Division 20. The bottom picture is what you can see from the turnpike, a proposed rendering, and the top right picture is a closer elevation from the ground level of that elevation. The applicant is requesting alternative compliance for the building massing, but staff worked with the applicant on the architectural features to make the request for building massing a little less of a request. So we worked with them on the parapet changes, on architectural wall sconces, a volumetric corner treatment, and foundation landscaping to try to offset what they were requesting. This is a rendering also from the turnpike of the proposed canopy. This was also subject to review for Division 20, and the applicant is requesting alternative compliance for this industrial-type canopy that is not meeting building massing or architectural features. Staff did work with the applicant to incorporate two materials to match what is out there existing on site right now to ensure that it wasn't a downgrade from existing conditions. And with that, the development review staff has reviewed the application and finds it in compliance with all applicable regulations, and the comprehensive growth management plan is detailed in the attached staff report. And staff recommendation is to move that the board receive and file the agenda item and all attachments, including the staff report as Exhibit 1, and move that the board approve the request for master phasing and Phase 1 final site plan approval for Willis Custom Yachts project, including requests for alternative compliance for commercial design and a request for a parking rate adjustment. And the applicant is here to present as well, and I'm here for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You did a nice job. Questions from the commission for staff? Seeing none at this time. Mr. Waters, you are representing the applicant, correct?
Yes, sir.
Welcome, you are recognized.
So again, Tyson Waters on behalf of the applicant. With me today is Matt Barnes from WGI, as well as Doug West from Willis Custom Yachts. I do want to start by thanking staff for their assistance throughout this process as we kind of fine-tune and modified the plans. I also agree with LPA's recommendation of approval. This is an exciting project because we're taking a use that's already there and enhancing it. Willis Custom Yachts has owned the property for about 2 years. And I think as you drive up and down 95 and the turnpike, you can already see a mass improvement to the property. And I think this expansion is only going to make things better and certainly address a need and desire in this county for more marine waterfront commercial uses. A quick overview, as staff mentioned, we have two parcels, one on the south side of St. Lucie Canal and one on the north side. The south side, as you can see, is the old American Custom Yachts facility. And that is part of our final site plan in front of you today. The master site plan includes both parcels. The final site plan is only for parcel 1. We'll come back for parcel 2, the north parcel, probably in a couple years once we get the south parcel improved and up and running as in the expanded format. As staff mentioned, we were here a few months ago to clean up some land use issues where there were some right-of-ways that didn't have any land use or zoning. We cleaned that up, so the majority of the property is now commercial waterfront, and a portion on the southern side is industrial. And likewise, we cleaned up so there's a large chunk that is waterfront general commercial, a smaller portion that is general industrial, which matches the zoning to the parcel to the immediate south. And then the balance along Jack James is limited industrial. And with that, I'm going to turn this over to Matt Barnes with WGI to go over the site plan.
Now, Doug?
When they're done presenting. Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. Matthew Barnes, Senior Project Manager with WGI.
Mr. Barnes, were you sworn in?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you.
As Tyson said, Liz and staff has done a great job and have gone over a lot of this already, so I'll be very brief in my remarks. It's been stated before, we're here for master site plan approval and then final site plan approval for phase one. Liz already went over the numbers for this, so I won't bother you with that, but it is a targeted industry business. It's a great business for the county. This is a colored version of the master plan that might help show exactly where things are in relation to the existing conditions. The next slide, I'll get into the details about phase one, but as Liz pointed out, there's the proposed marine manufacturing building on the master plan for phase two, the 10,000 square foot office building, and the new wet slips and canopy in this location. This is a closer up view of phase one, and here's certain elements. Existing building, existing canopy, proposed canopy over water and land. Another thing that you don't really see on the site plan per se, but it's there's an existing haul out well here on the west side of the property that's isn't very long and doesn't have a large tonnage capacity. Willis wants to upgrade the tonnage capacity of that haul out well to be 220 tons, so it can bring out the biggest of the biggest boats.
Yeah.
So that's an exciting part of the project as well.
You can lift your boat, Harold.
And then on the east side of the project is a building that will be mostly housing the trades and skilled services buildings with a 2,050 square foot restaurant at the north end of that building, open for breakfast and lunch. And then on the southwest corner, the manufacturing building. Also important to note, there's two existing wetland and upland preserve areas on the phase one area where they're going to remain, and actually we're enhancing the plantings in the wetland buffer area. And then overall on the site, as indicated generally by these green lines, there's going to be a significant amount of new landscaping proposed on the site. Over 400 trees and over 100 new palm trees will be planted on the site. I won't bore you to death with all the goals, objectives, and policies that this project meets, but it is important to note that one of the goals of the county's comprehensive plan is that to provide adequate and appropriate sites for industrial land uses to support the role of industry in the county's economy. That's exactly what this project does. It's also a water-dependent and water-related use, and it's a perfect site for this kind of a use. You've heard from your staff, they recommend approval. The LPA recommended approval. And here's, Liz showed you some of the renderings of the project. Here's sort of a before and after snapshot, so you can see the proposed improvements. That was the before, what you see on the turnpike. This is what you're going to see afterwards. Again, this is that closer up view of that southwest portion of the manufacturing building. And then this is the northwest portion of that building. Driving just a little further north on the turnpike, if you're going northbound, this is what you see today. And then that's what you would see after the canopy is expanded. And then this is shifting over to the Jack James side. This is the southeast corner of the proposed Trades and Skilled Services building. And then this is the northeast corner, again, where that restaurant would be at the end cap of that building. There would be a small outdoor seating area. Again, mostly going to be serving patrons of, or employees and patrons of Willis Custom Yachts and the people in this building, but also any workers in the northern part of along Jack James Drive. And with that, I'll turn it over to Doug West to talk about Willis Custom Yachts.
Thank you very much. Mr. West,
Morning.
good morning.
Thanks for having me.
Could you just remind us if you've been sworn in?
I have.
Thank you.
Thank you. So a little history on Willis Custom Yachts. It's a partnership between Mark Willis, who's been building boats, sportfish boats since the 1980s, and most recently he's built boats in Stewart on Commerce under the name of Willis Marine. So he partnered with Brooke Smith, who's a technology gentleman out of Atlanta, who's been passionate about boats since he was a kid, and he has been a customer of Mark's. So they formed this partnership, and they bought American Custom in May of 2021 and created Willis Custom Yachts. So since that acquisition, we have increased the workforce by almost 50%, and we're still trying to hire at least another 20 technicians to be able to do the work building boats and servicing boats. With that, we are working with the Martin County School District and Ted Estoffi from, I don't remember the name of his Economic Council in Indian River State College to develop an apprenticeship program to grow the workforce here in Martin County. With that, any questions you guys have, I'm more than happy to answer.
Thank you. Is that the end of the applicant's presentation?
Yes, and we're here for any questions that you may have.
Commissioner Smith.
It's going to be much more commentary than questions. So what I find most exciting, I mean, there's a lot exciting about what's going on here. Historically, if you were to go back to the very early 1900s, when the Whitaker family decided to spend their winters here, and they decided that they would go in the commercial fishing business here at the same time that the Rybovich family down in Palm Beach was doing their thing. Ironically, their family structures were set up almost identically, and they both were creating an industry and creating a sports fishing business that never existed. Like you didn't hire someone back then to take you fishing. It was work. It was something that you did. You went out and caught fish and you sold them in the open market, and end of story. And there were people that decided, hey, this is kind of a cool thing to do. Maybe I'd like to have my own boat. And both those families started building boats for private concerns. As time moved on, Stewart and Palm Beach really became two significant industry leaders in the boat building world, some of the finest talent boat builders in the world, bar none. And what has come from that were generations, if you want to call it that, of boat builders that both came out of those businesses, came here to be in business because of the talent that was here, and grew their businesses along that. As time has moved on, and this is what I find really the most interesting part of this story, those generational families have kind of moved on some, and new talent has moved in and taken what has become known in the world as some of the finest boat building anywhere, and everything that goes along with boat building, and they've honed their craft. And so that has moved along. But generationally, some of those owners have aged out, and the businesses have changed, and the model has changed. And what I find fascinating is that Willis has partnered with others to create this new model and to take over a boat yard that served Martin County and served the industry for many, many years, building some amazing boats, employing hundreds of people. But it was time, apparently, for that generation to move on and the new generation to come in. And this partnership that Doug alluded to is nothing short of amazing, I think. Just knowing the industry and knowing boat building and knowing the talent that it takes. And what also it fits into, and as was in the last slide of the presentation, it's one of our targeted industries. When we talk about what we want for employment, what we want for industry in Martin County, and I've always said to both the Economic Council, the Business Development Board, what do we already do? What are we really good at? Martin County is really good in the marine industries and everything about the industry. And so people that want to solve or build or create world-class boat experiences, one of the few places in the world you come to is Stuart, Florida. And so what Doug and his team have assembled is the next generation, I think, of amazing talent, amazing workmanship, absolutely stunning boats, and to continue on the history of what iconically Martin County Stuart has been known for decades. So I am absolutely thrilled and amazed that you guys have done this, because it really is a historical kind of continuation of what we are the very best at. And again, if you think about what was created back in the early 1900s, there was no catch and release before Kurt Whitaker came up with the idea of saying, look, if we're ever going to have sailfish for the next generation and generations past, we got to come up with a process to do something and save, the sailfish capital of the world from fishing itself out. And so catch and release was created, little tags were created, and a history built itself around that idea. So kudos to everything you all have done, to your partners, and to the opportunities that present themselves. There's some folks in town, and all of us talk about these things to everybody we run into. And there are young people out there that want to go into the marine industries and are looking for, the avenue on how to get there. We have been working on what's called the Reach Center at the airport now for the last couple of years, to both for the aviation, aerospace industry, and marine industries, to help capture that talent pool and make sure that there's talent out there to continue these things. And so, congratulations. Very, very cool. I only have one detailed question, and it's just a curiosity question. First of all, the logo and that corner feature, stunning. I think that is as beautiful a facade welcome to Willis Custom Yachts you could design. I think it's whoever did it, great stuff. It's beautiful. The covered building that's next to the newly improved boat hall section, is that going to get the same color treatment? Because in the picture it shows it being just a two-tone gray. Does that color theme carry throughout the entire facility, or does that change? And it's a curiosity question. It's not that one right there.
Won't affect your vote?
No, it won't affect my vote. I'm just.
I think the idea here was to really match the existing color of the canopy as opposed to the other buildings. That's what the design intent here was.
Okay, I just curious because the other looks phenomenal, and then I was like, oh, okay, well that's kind of different, but there's a good reason for it. Fine.
A lot of people will see that from the turnpike and probably put your logo on that side of the building too. Just giving you that for free.
Anyway, I know this is quasi judicial, and I know we have to ask for public comment, but I would enthusiastically recommend approval.
Really, I wasn't sure where you were going.
I know.
with comments.
Sometimes it's hard for me to hide my general ideas.
Well, you are from New England. You're aloof.
I'm a who?
Aloof.
Aloof, that's what I am, aloofa?
We have one request to speak for him from Mr. Joe Gutierrez. That's you.
Apologize, someone was whispering in my ear.
Oh, that's okay.
Joe Gutierrez, I'm a resident of Highlands Reserve. We had our yearly, and I was sworn in, we had our yearly board meeting last night, and I was asked to come represent our interests of the community of approximately 319 homes that are along High Meadow. So we are in support of Willis. We are hopeful and confident that we will come to some agreements because there is a little bit of a unique situation when it comes to Swallowtail. As I'm sure all the commissioners are aware, that is a road that we are responsible for maintaining. And so we're hoping to come to some sort of agreement with Willis and the county. We don't know. This is all open for discussion. One of the areas that just came to my attention, unfortunately, and again, this is oversight due to prior homeowners association boards, there was a PAMP agreement for our community back from 2003. We have been approached by the county recently, I think it was in 2021, to rectify this issue. So we are addressing that, and we're going to be speaking to Willis about that, because there's also areas along Swallowtail that abut Swallowtail that obviously they would have, I guess, some exposure to as well. So that is really it. We just wanted to make sure that, I know this is, as this moves forward and moves to the final approval, that we're kept into consideration. That's it.
Thank you, sir, very much.
Appreciate it.
Anyone else looking to address us on this? Commissioner Hurd, you had a comment.
Yeah. I just wanted to echo Commissioner Smith's compliments for and admiration and appreciation for our custom sport fishing boats in Martin County. We have lots of them, and they're the most beautiful and coveted sport fishing boats in the world. And this tiny, tiny little commerce corridor we used to have Willis, Garlington, Jim Smith, Bonadeo, just a real wealth of wonderful boat manufacturers. And we call this area Dream Boats, because it is. And I also just wanted to, I'm completely supportive of this project. I think it's a terrific addition. And also, I'm particularly smitten with the fact that you're putting in a restaurant, because your location is pretty remote. So your employees are stranded. And how nice that you're putting in a 2,000 square foot restaurant for your employees. It tells me that you're going to continue to be a wonderful employer, and I'm appreciative. And I'll move staff's recommendation for approval.
Did you already do that? You are the second then.
Okay, second.
It's interesting, the two of them are always in lockstep. It's amazing.
Yeah.
For those that are not familiar with this, that was actually very funny. Anybody else? Would you like to gush?
You know what, there's been a lot of gushing going on. I just want to thank you for choosing Martin County, and this is an amazing opportunity for us, for our economy.
Very nice. Short, sweet, just the way we like
That's
it.
it, man.
I'm happy that half of the project will be in Palm City, so thank you so much with that. And I've had an opportunity a couple of different times to go out and visit. I think originally they had 75 employees that they took in, and now they're more than double that. And for every one of those people that now has an excellent job in a great company, we thank you for that. And the process is working exactly the way we would like it to. I know that Ted Astolfi and Joan from the BDB, didn't you just win in a business development award? Why don't you come forward and tell us about it, please? Brag.
More gushing.
So on Friday, we were awarded the Company to Watch for 2022 award.
Congratulations. Yeah, and you are. So with that, we have a motion by Commissioner Smith for staff's recommendation of approval, seconded by Commissioner Hurd. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? The motion carries unanimously 4-0. Thank you very much, and congratulations. Happy holidays to you all. Okay, our next agenda item, moving right along, is departmental quasi-judicial number 1, correct?
No,
No?
we should start at the beginning.
Go back to the beginning, yes.
Yeah.
Donna? Would you like to go? Yes, please, we'll just get those over with. Board and committee appointments, Drug and Alcohol Abuse Awareness Committee appointments. Has everyone turned in their voting sheets?
Yep.
Ms. Gordon, good morning, welcome, you are recognized.
Donna Gordon for the record.
Don't go too far, guys, you're up very soon. Sorry for that, behind the scenes.
The board is asked to reappoint Ms. Marshall. I'm not going to attempt her first name, I'll butcher it.
Aneshka, and she's a Dr. Aneshka Marshall.
Okay, Dr. Marshall. Chief Judge Schwab and Officer Joseph Sable. And you have to vote for 2 private citizens. And after voting, you have Mr. Mike Anthony received 4 votes, and unfortunately, Ms. Robin Hubner
and Mrs. Pam Uletti received 2 votes each. So that's a tie.
Is this time sensitive?
No.
Let's bring it back.
To January 24.
For just that one seat.
Is that the next meeting, January 24th?
I believe Commissioner Hurd will be out the 10th.
We already have her vote.
I don't know that you can.
Trying to put it out there.
Just wait till January 24th, that's fine.
Does January 24th work?
Yeah, the drug and alcohol abuse isn't until March.
Fantastic. We'll postpone that item. We'll take a motion. Yeah?
For Mr.
Move approval. Move
Yeah.
approval of the other 5?
4.
4.
Okay. And then we're holding off on the second portion of that, Miss Robin Hubner and Miss Pam Ouellette. We have a motion by Commissioner Smith, seconded by Commissioner Jenkins. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries unanimously. That's what happens when you have an even number up here. And you have, let's do board and committee, number 2, Community Redevelopment Agency Board Member Appointments and Chair and Vice Chair Designations. There's not a voting sheet for that?
Yes, you turned it in.
Did you not vote for it?
No, I guess I did. We're doing something else as well, picking positions. Okay, with that in mind, Ms. Gordon.
You're asked to adopt the resolution appointing 1 member to serve on the Community Redevelopment Agency as the Hope Sound representative. That would be Blake Capps, who submitted his application, and 1 member to serve as the at-large representative, and we have 2 applicants for that. Mr. Richard Kennedy received 4 votes, and then you're asked to appoint a chair and vice chair for the calendar year 2023.
So I would first move that we appoint Mr. Kennedy and,
Reappoint.
Reappoint, sorry, and Mr. Capps for their terms.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion by Commissioner Smith, seconded by Commissioner Jenkins. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Now we need
The chair and vice chair.
from a recommendation from the board for a chair. Do you want to do them separately or together?
I would move that we move Mr. Redling up to chair.
Second.
That's the first motion.
Thank you. We have a motion by Commissioner Smith to elevate Vice Chair Redling to chair, seconded by Commissioner Jenkins. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries 4-0.
Move Rex Centel.
Okay.
It's hard because they're both great.
As vice chair.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion.
Blake's going to kill me. But that's all right.
We have a motion by Commissioner Hurd to elevate Dr. Rex Centel to the vice chair, seconded by Commissioner Jenkins. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries 4-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Just reorg.
We made that look easy, but it wasn't.
Just for a year.
Well, the problem is we're getting all really good qualified people over all these years.
Yeah.
And so just hopefully everybody sticks around and keeps on doing it.
Clyde, what, Mr. Doolin, what was your next, did you want to just go in, didn't you? Okay, we'll do that. Our next one is public hearing number 1, public hearing to consider approval of amended local housing assistance plan, the LHAP fiscal year 2020 to 2023. It was continued from 11/15/2022. It'll be presented by Ms. Michelle Miller and assisted by Mr. George Stokes. Ms. Miller, welcome. You are recognized.
Good morning, Michelle Miller, Human Services. Before you, we have the SHIP Local Housing Assistant Plan. We have made 2 amendments to this for your approval. The first is regarding the bidding process, which is on page 6, and the next is the disaster strategy located on page 10. Requesting approval of the plan with those changes.
Thank you. Questions from my colleagues? Advice or suggestions or motions from my colleagues?
Approval. Second.
Thank you. Anyone from the public looking to address us on this topic? Seeing none, we have a motion by Commissioner Smith to accept staff's recommendation, seconded by Commissioner Jenkins. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, the motion carries 4-0. Our next agenda item is public hearing number 2, approve the State Housing Initiative Partnership Affordable Housing Incentive Strategies report by the Affordable Housing Advisory Committee. It will also be presented by Ms. Miller. You are still recognized.
Thank you. So before you, you have the State Housing Initiative Partnership Affordable Housing Incentive Strategies. They are put forth by the Florida Housing Finance Corporation each year for your review and approval. The AHAC has also reviewed them and made their suggestions for approval, and staff has also made their recommendations. The AHAC has approved the strategies except for strategies E and K, and staff has requested approval of all strategies except E, K, G, and H.
Can you explain to the people that are following along at home what E and K and G and H are, please?
Surely. E is allowance of affordable accessory residential units in residential zoning districts. K is support of development near transportation hubs and major employment centers and mixed-use developments. G is allowance of flexible lot configurations, including zero lot line configurations for affordable housing. And H is modification of street requirements for affordable housing.
So you are removing those?
We are requesting removal of those, yes. Or more specifically, for those incentive strategies not to be implemented this year.
Okay. And you're comfortable with that?
Yes, sir.
Questions from my colleagues? Anyone from the public looking to address us on this topic? Seeing none, back to the board.
Move approval.
Thank you. We have a motion by Commissioner Hurd for staff's recommendation of approval, seconded by Commissioner Jenkins. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries 4-0.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Our next agenda item is public hearing number 3, a legislative public hearing to consider adoption of a comprehensive plan amendment, CPA 22-05, Yacht Club Beach Lot 60. It'll be presented by Ms. Carolyn Grunwald with the assistance of Mr. Clyde Doolin. And it looks like you have some legal representation with Elise Elder. Welcome. You are recognized.
Good morning, members of the commission. Carolyn Grunwald.
That looks like the arm of a Christmas sweater. You took it away.
Oh.
Okay. I'll save it for later.
Okay, I'm here this morning to discuss the small-scale CPA 22
Speak up a little bit.
-05, Lot 60 of Yacht Club Beach. It is shown here, outlined in red on the map. This parcel was platted in 1914, prior to any zoning regulations. It is located on the south side of Hutchinson Island. It's south of Chastain Beach, north of Bathtub Beach. To the east is the Atlantic Ocean, and to the west is the Indian River Lagoon. It is just north of Sailfish Point. The future land use on the parcel as of current is recreational. It was previously owned by the city of Stuart when the land use was considered appropriate. Recreation will allow for a public park and 0 residential units. The proposed low-density residential land use would allow for a maximum of 5 units per acre. So on this half-acre parcel, the maximum would be 2.5 units. The current zoning on the parcel is HR 1A. That only allows for 1 residential unit. The comprehensive plan requires the parcel to meet at least one of 4 criteria for a future land use map amendment, in which this parcel does meet 1. No concurrent rezoning applications have been received with this request. The site has public water and sewer available. Let's see. The proposed future land use map with zoning only allows for 1 residential unit. I just want to make sure that that is understood. There's, if the change does not occur, the property owner will not be able to obtain a building permit for a single-family residence, and staff recommends approval. This concludes my presentation. If you have any further questions, or if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them for you.
Thank you very much. Questions for staff? Seeing none. Mr. Raines, hello, sir. Welcome.
Good morning, Commissioners. For the record, Bob Raines here on behalf of the applicant. Thank you very much for this opportunity this morning. I would like to begin by having the record reflect that I have with me the proof of notices to the surrounding property owners, and I'm turning those in at this time. And I have just a short presentation to make, just to add to Ms. Grunwald's presentation, which I thought she did a very nice job. But I did want to make a couple other points, if we get that pulled up. And Josh Long is no longer with our firm, unfortunately, so now I'm doing some of this stuff. And
Wow.
yeah, he got a better offer. Imagine that.
Is there such a thing?
I couldn't imagine. We could be better than working for me. Huh?
Come from us.
That's right. Anyway, this again is a future land use amendment request. And again, as Carolyn pointed out, the site is located on MacArthur in a residential area. And I'll just go through these kind of quickly because I thought she did a good job, but there's one emphasis I wanted to point on. Here's a picture of the site. It's again vacant, but you can see already there's a single-family resident adjacent to this property. And then here's something that I wanted to point out, which I think is important. This is actually the zoning map. And again, the criterion that we're meeting here is that this is an inappropriate land use designation for this parcel. And as Ms. Grunwald had mentioned, this parcel was originally owned by the city for a long time. And in 1982, when they went in and they assigned the land use designations, I guess because the city owned it, the only thing they could think to put on it was recreational. But if you look, and this is where I think it's really important, this is the zoning map. And all of these properties in blue, including Lot 60, which is the subject of this hearing today, has a zoning of HR 1A, single-family residential. So even though it had a recreational land use designation, it still had an underlying zoning, which was originally intended for the property going back to 1968 or somewhere, I think, in that term when we first came in with the zoning, is the HR 1A. So it had a zoning designation for residential. So again, our request is for a future land use amendment from recreational to low density. The low density, as was pointed out in Ms. Grunwald's presentation, is surrounding this lot, and therefore we believe it's appropriate to put a low-density residential land use on this property also. So we'll be glad to answer any questions that you might have, but that concludes our presentation.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Smith.
Mr. Raines, thank you. And it has no outcome on as Commissioner or the Chair had pointed out earlier on my vote, but when did the city sell it? I should have asked that before, but.
Shoot, I can't remember. It's been a while since it was sold.
Man, I can't believe we didn't buy it. I'm just thinking.
Yeah.
It's all your fault. No,
it's nothing recent, I can assure you of that.
Back in the 80s, probably.
Yeah. No, I
think it was the early 2000s.
Yeah.
I believe I saw.
Yeah. Really? Yeah, it wasn't, I could go through.
2002. That's early.
Yeah, I could go through the file. I know it seems like yesterday, but
boy, what a shame we didn't
20 years ago.
Get noticed on that one. Maybe we didn't. We just didn't buy it. But anyway, pending any public comment, I'd move staff's recommendation.
Second.
Good. Two people were probably here when that happened, so it's only appropriate. That one slipped through your fingers. Well,
how?
What is it?
We were buying
It's only
land.
beachfront property on the Atlantic Ocean. I mean, why would we want it?
We bought 102 acres worth in that time period on the beach.
Could have been 104.
Could have been
Anyway, we have a motion by Commissioner Smith, seconded by Commissioner Hurd. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? The motion carries 4-0. Thank you very much. Ms. Grunwald, you did an excellent job.
Thank you.
Thank you, members of the board.
The rest of you did adequate.
I always like how Clyde has the final say. It's like, he's just like,
With that deep voice of his.
It's that
Thank you,
deep
and good-
voice, it's like, we're done here.
Okay. Moving right along, our next agenda item is Departmental Quasi-Judicial Number 1, request approval for Salerno Reserve at Showcase PUD Phase 1 Plat C140-012. Elam?
He's walking in.
How do you pronounce it? Elam? Elam, here he is. Tardy, take your seat.
And festive.
Yeah, take your jacket off. Mr. Elam, welcome. It is a quasi-judicial, so I'll go through some procedures. Commissioner Hurd, do you have any ex partes?
I do, they've been filed.
Thank you so much. Commissioner Jenkins.
I do, they've been filed.
Commissioner Smith.
Doing their fault.
I also have some, and they've been filed. Anyone that's going to offer testimony, please stand to be sworn in.
Raise your right hands. Do you swear or affirm that the evidence you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Are there any return receipts necessary?
Not unless it's a departmental quasi-judicial.
Thank you. Mr. Elam, do you have your work history and a copy of the agenda item? Fantastic. Let the record show he submitted it. Anyone looking to intervene?
No interveners.
Thank you. Mr. Elam, you are recognized, sir.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
This is a request by Tamarack Land,
Speak
Salerno.
right into the microphones, please.
This is a request by Tamarack Land, Salerno Reserve LLC for approval of the Showcase PUD Phase 1 plat. Included with this application is a request for a certificate of public facilities exemption. Showcase PUD is a development approved for 167 residential housing units located on approximately 46.39 acre parcel of land that lies between and abuts Southeast Cove Road and Southeast Salerno Road. Showcase PUD received master site approval on July 14th, 2020, and consists of two phases. Phase 1 consists of 79 single-family lots and related infrastructure for the site and is approximately 35.67 acres. Phase 2 consists of 88 townhomes on approximately 10.72 acres. This agenda item is to approve the plat for Phase 1 only. There were minor technical changes to the revised master site plan and Phase 1 final site plan that were required to achieve plat consistency. As a result, this agenda item has a resolution to approve the revised Phase 1 final site plan and a second amendment to the Showcase PUD for the purpose of updating the Exhibit B ownership certificate, Exhibit C unified control, and Exhibit D revised master site plan. I need to note two corrections that are required on the resolution to approve the Phase 1 final site plan, which is part of this agenda item. Within Section D, it says, shall render approval of the revised final site plan for Sable Point project null and void. This needs to be replaced to read, shall render approval of the Phase 1 revised final site plan for the Showcase PUD project null and void. And the second correction, it's difficult to see. The minor technical changes on the master site plan are listed here. There's a new designer, so the title block was changed. There's a call-out box, call-out added to the Southeast Salerno Road entrance exit, and the resident and guest lane details are shown on the Southeast Cove Road entrance. The landscape easement was changed from 20 feet to 15 feet, and the dimensions on the single-family lot call-out detail here were changed to accommodate that. So now the trees are centered within the easement. And also, the word driveways was added into that. Is there a mouse for this?
Might be up on the podium there.
So this is what has been approved, and this is the new. And so we added the word driveways in here, the landscaping, our landscaping architects, so that the placement of the trees would also protect not just the sidewalks, but the driveways, and also be situated away from the utilities. And then on the on the master site plan, there used to be a call out for an abandoned right-of-way, which is now abandoned, so that has been removed. The minor technical changes for the revised final site plan are identical to the master site plan. And we've reviewed this application and find that it complies with the land development regulations. And staff recommends the board move to receive and file the agenda item and all attachments as Exhibit 1. Staff recommends approval of the second amendment to the Showcase PUD zoning agreement, which includes a revised Exhibit B ownership certificate, Exhibit C covenant of unified control, and Exhibit D revised master site plan. And staff recommends approval of the revised Phase 1 final site plan. That concludes the presentation.
Thank you, sir, very much. Questions? Commissioner Hurd.
Yeah, tell me about turning movements onto Cove. Is there a right turn lane? Is there a westbound right turn lane? Is eastbound allowed? Is westbound allowed? What do the turning movements look like on Cove?
Morning. Peter Walden, Deputy Growth Management Director. This plat is for Phase 1 only, which only has access on the Salerno Road.
Okay. So the Phase 2 will be the access from Cove Road?
Correct.
Okay.
Thank you. Any other questions from the commissioners? Seeing none. Is there an applicant? Good morning, sir. Welcome. Please let us know your name for the record and if you've been sworn in or not.
Good morning, Commissioners. Ken Delatorre with Design and Entitlement Consultants, agent on behalf of Tamarack Land Development, and yes, I've been sworn in this morning. Just want to say thank you to staff for doing an excellent job and working with our team on this application. We don't have any additional presentation material, but our team is here for any questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Questions for the applicant's representative? Seeing none, this is quasi-judicial. Is there any members of the public that would like to address us on this? Also seeing none. Any other questions for staff or applicant? Any members of the public?
Dragging us out there.
I was waiting for our fourth vote.
Oh, there you go. I didn't notice.
Commissioner Smith? No,
Pending, did you already ask for public?
I did.
Move approval.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion by Commissioner Smith to accept staff's recommendation of approval, seconded by Commissioner Jenkins. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? The motion carries 4-0. Thank you very much. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas. Okay, our next agenda item is also quasi-judicial, departmental quasi-judicial number 2, request replat approval for Floridian Golf Club PUD Phase 3 F099-038. Anyone that's going to be offering testimony, please stand to be sworn in.
Raise your right hands. Do you swear or affirm that the evidence you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Thank you. Are there any return receipts that are necessary? Since they're not, because it's a regular thing. Anyone looking to intervene? Commissioner Smith, do you have any quasi ex parte?
I do, they're filed.
Thank you. Commissioner Jenkins, any ex parte?
I don't think I do, but if I do, they've been filed.
Thank you. Commissioner Hurd, any?
I don't, and they've been filed.
Thank you. I don't have any, and they have been filed that I don't have any. Do you have your work history and a copy of the agenda item? That's fantastic. Why don't you make staff's presentation? You're recognized.
Thank you. This is a request by Floridian National Golf Club, LLC, for approval of a proposed replat of lots 17 and 18, consistent with the Floridian Golf Club PUD Phase 3 revised final site plan as amended on May 3rd, 2022. This replat will subdivide 2 existing lots, 17 and 18, into 3 lots, lots 17, 17A, and 18. Included with this application is a request for a certificate of public facilities exemption. Floridian Golf Club PUD agreement was approved on October 23rd, 2012. Minor technical changes to the Floridian Golf Club PUD Phase 3 revised final site plan were required to achieve plat consistency. As a result, this agenda item has a resolution to approve a new Phase 3 revised final site plan. There's our plat, splitting the 2 lots into 3. minor technical changes are listed here. Lot name was 17-A, is now 17A. Lot 17A was 17,703 square feet. It's rounded up to 17,704 to be consistent with the plat. And the lot width dimension was 83 feet, and it has been put into two different lengths, 67.26 and 15.91 feet, which is equivalent and consistent with the plat. So we have reviewed this application, and it complies with all applicable land development regulations in the comp plan, and we move the board receive and file the agenda item as Exhibit 1, and recommend approval of the Floridian Golf Club PUD Phase 3 replat of Lots 17 and 18, including the revised Phase 3 final site plan. That concludes the presentation.
Thank you, sir. Questions for staff? Seeing none. Applicant's representative, Mr. Crady, good morning.
Good morning. For the record, my name is Morris Crady, Senior Partner with Lucido and Associates, and I'm here on behalf of the applicant, and we're in agreement with staff's recommendation, and we'll be glad to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions for the applicant's representative? Seeing none. Anyone from the public looking to address us on this topic? Also seeing none. Commissioner Smith?
Move approval.
Thank you.
Sorry.
I appreciate that. We have a motion by Commissioner Smith for staff's recommendation of approval, seconded by Commissioner Jenkins. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? The motion carries 4-0. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you as well. Our next agenda item is Departmental Number 1, Office of Management and Budget items which require board approval. It'll be one item, and it'll be presented by Ms. Jennifer Manning. Ms. Manning, good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Good morning, Commissioners. Jennifer Manning, ONB Director. As you mentioned, I have one item on the agenda, and it's permission to accept the public transportation grant for FY 2023. The funds allocated will be $359,011, and it will be used to provide operating assistance to Martin County Public Bus Services in urbanized areas, as well as Americans with Disabilities for complementary services. And that concludes my presentation.
Thank you very much.
Move approval.
Thank you. Do we have anyone from the public looking to address us on this? Seeing none, we have a motion by Commissioner Hurd for staff's recommendation of approval, seconded by Commissioner Jenkins. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? The motion carries 4-0. Thank you, ma'am.
Happy
Merry
holidays.
Christmas. Our next agenda item is Departmental Number 2, contracts that meet the threshold for board approval, $1 million or greater. There was two, now there's one, and it'll be presented by Ms. Christy Brotherton.
Good morning, Christy Brotherton, Chief Procurement Officer. We do have one item left for your review today, which is our Golden Gate Vacuum Sewer System Gravity Lateral Installation and Septic Conversion Contract. This is a continuing services contract with a maximum not-to-exceed value of $3 million, with a maximum not-to-exceed term of 3 years. Staff is recommending that the board award the contract to the Lazarus Group and to Jamie Underground, and move that the board authorize the county administrator or designee to execute any and all documents related to this request. And that concludes this item.
Thank you.
Move approval.
Thank you. Anyone from the public looking to address us? Seeing none, we have a motion by Commissioner Hurd for staff's recommendation of approval, seconded by Commissioner Smith. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? The motion carries unanimously.
Thank you. Happy holidays.
We're at an interesting point of the agenda now. Mr. Donaldson, Departmental Number 4, Community Transportation Coordinator. Are you making this presentation? Is there someone that's not here that should be? Dun, dun,
Yes,
dun.
we were expecting a presentation on this item. I'll ask Mr. Gorton if he can.
I just saw him, and then he came and left. Well, let's have a conversation while someone's coming about the Departmental Number 3. It's a discussion of the 2023 priorities of the Board of County Commissioners. I saw the agenda item. Commissioner Hetherington's were going to be delivered in real time, I believe, correct? They weren't part of the item that I received.
That's correct. So
So it's up to my colleagues now. Oh, Commissioner.
Yes, so Commissioner Heatherington is not here. Obviously, she did not provide her full list. I did talk to her. She said that her list was going to be similar to last year's, with, I know, possibly the addition of the rural study. So my recommendation is that as I've discussed with some of you all in coming up to this, that in the past, when we did strategic priorities, there was some consolidation of items. However, in more recent times, all of the items that have been presented, essentially the board has adopted in unanimity your individual items. And so our, as administration's ability to cull or to consolidate those is limited. Perhaps you can have a discussion on your individual items. Yes. And so I think it's up to you whether or not we have a discussion. If you were to postpone this to all commissioners present, it would require the second meeting in January. So I leave it up to you.
Used up all the time that we had allotted for it in your explanation. No, I'm like saying. It's a tough, hey, it is what it is. Commissioner Smith.
I'm more than happy to give my thoughts for today, and Commissioner Heatherington can certainly give hers when she comes back, and we move on, and there's a list.
I think, well, I appreciate that. Let me hear from my colleagues. I thought we would wait. Is this urgent? They could be New Year's resolutions instead of Christmas list. I mean, we have had an opportunity to see them. I think that the public likes to know, and staff has had the opportunity to see them. It's really up to Commissioner Hurd. You won't be here at the next one. Are you comfortable waiting until the second meeting in January?
Yeah. Yeah, my goals are also kind of similar to last year. One of them is complicated, and it would be good to have a full board. It's infrastructure planning for Port Salerno.
Okay.
It's extremely complex, extremely. In the last year, more than 50% of the privately held lands in the core of Port Salerno have changed hands. So there's going to be a ton of bulldozing. It's going to look very, very different. The new owners have plans, and they're very, very ambitious.
Okay.
And the county needs to respond ambitiously also.
Very well. I think, I can see both points. I don't know if we'd get through all of our comments, and to just do one or two of us is not ideal, I don't think. And then also, this is a great opportunity for us to discuss these things I'm interested to hear what my colleagues find to be their priorities. I looked at the list. Some of them I am in agreement with. Not that I disagree with any of them. I just felt that they require a little more than 7 minutes worth of a conversation.
Agreed.
Is that okay, Commissioner Smith? Because we're going to break then, correct?
Yeah, I think the idea of what we've done for the last couple of years is to give the staff our list, and then they come back with how they're going to carry out those objectives. I mean, Commissioner Hurd's thing, we brought up, that conversation came up last week or whatever on.
That was one part of it.
Yes, yeah, and that's why I was curious to the question as to what did the CRA think, so on and so forth. So I'm more than happy to give you, I have 4, and they're really simple. It's the continuation of the full acquisition of Palomar, a biosolids pilot program with either in conjunction with Trane Energy and the savings that we have done over the last 10, 12 years with Trane. There's an opportunity, I think, to continue to work with them on some of those energy sustainability issues. A single hurricane shelter, I brought that up in the past, and I think this year kind of exemplified why we should be thinking about that, given how much it costs us, the school board, not to have multiple shelters that don't get used, or the cost that's involved in all that. And then the last one is a land acquisition plan program for this coming year, or for years to come, but anyway, to start this year.
Thank you. Do we need a motion to postpone this, or is it just to tell you that we're going to wait?
You don't need a motion.
Thank you.
Just bring it back.
The rest of us, we have a sneak peek of Commissioner Smith's I don't disagree with his choices there at all, but we will bring this back up the second meeting in January. Thank you. Our last agenda item of the,
A second bite at the apple.
yes, maybe, we'll have to see.
Oh, maybe you'll limit me.
Well, you already made your presentation, it's over. We'll see, I'll probably be benevolent. Departmental number 4, Community Transportation Coordinator, Transportation Disadvantage Program Update. Welcome to both of you.
Good morning.
if you could
Good
state your
afternoon,
names
maybe?
and-
Is it still morning?
Still morning for a
3
little
minutes to
bit.
go.
Yes.
I'm Karen Deagle. I'm the CEO at the Senior Resource Association, and with me is Chris Stevenson, who is my Transportation Director. We are the CTC for the Community Coach, the CTC for Martin County, and thank you for having us back. We were here, I guess it was in June of last, and talking about the community coach system and funding and priorities for that system. And I'm pleased to be able to present some really good news today, actually. So,
Holiday news.
yeah. So our mission, I always like to start with that because we are a nonprofit organization. We promote independence and dignity in our community by providing services to older adults and transportation for all. So transportation disadvantage rider. I just kind of want to remind you about who our riders are for the community coach, for the transportation disadvantage program. They are anyone elderly over the age of 65, and this is according to your TDSP plan. So over 65 with no other means of transportation, or disabled with no other means of transportation, or at below 100% of poverty level with no other means of transportation. And of course, that is the most vulnerable demographics of the people in this community. So just to kind of talk about the funding that we've had over the years. Back in 1819, SRA took over as the CTC. We were, during that year, 9 months of doing services for all of you, and our funding at that year was $317,000. Ebb and flow over the years. Last year, we were provided with $370,000, and that's when we came and we discussed with you about what we're doing and the fact that we were going to be going ahead and getting and applying for a grant, an ISD grant, from the Commission for Transportation Disadvantage. That grant we applied for was for $750,000, and we were about 3 days out when we spoke to you last in June, 3 days out of knowing whether we were going to receive that or not. We did receive full funding, which was absolutely amazing. If you recall, this ISD grant, which is Innovative Service Development Grant, they had only $4 million to hand out in the state of Florida, and SRA applied for the maximum we could for Martin County, and we did the same for Indian River and St. Lucie County. And so out of that $4 million, $750,000 was awarded to us here, full funding, and we also received $1.2 million for Indian River and St. Lucie. So true testimony to us that for providing the services, they know that we'll do a good job with the dollars. So yes, we did receive it, and thank you. At the time of our last meeting, we had asked you to grant us, if we were to receive it, that 10% match that we talked about that's needed for this grant. So you did award us the 10% match for that $750,000, which is $75,000. And in addition, another $30,000 towards the 10% match for the trip and equipment grant. So thank you for the $105,000. Now let me talk about what we have done with it. So we talked about marketing at the last meeting and saying, like, how, what are you going to do to increase ridership? What efforts will you make to get the word out that if you do receive it, how we can provide more services? These are the efforts that we've made in the last 6 months. So we did design new letterhead, informational flyer, trifold brochure that we've been distributing. We did a direct mailing to 21 rehab facilities, 90 churches in Martin County. We're working with the Cleveland Clinic, the discharge case management team. We do regular social media postings, both in English and Spanish. We have information sessions for the disabled community at the Family Care Council meetings. And we've been networking with a lot of different community partners that are listed. The Health Council, the Martin County Community Health Advisory Committee, ARC of Martin County, Kane Center, and Helping People Succeed. And as recently as 2 days ago, one of my staff were here and participated in the CHIP session, which is the Community Initiative Health Plan. So we are participating, we're here, and we're in front of people. This is just a snapshot of the brochure that we do hand out regularly in this community. And I also have to say that the MPO, Lucene, has been wonderful in connecting us with the different partners in this community. So our ridership. If you take a look at the blue, that is the numbers that we were managing when we were receiving the trip and equipment grant of roughly the 300,000 up and down. This year, so far, because of the fact that we were able to receive this grant and receive the dollars from all of you, currently for the we have exceeded what we did in all of 21-22. So within 6 months, we are now at 10,571. Anticipated trips will be at the end of the project, which is June 30th, will be over 24,000 persons. That's the 24,806 is the number of persons that we can trip with the dollars that we have received. And we anticipate using those funds fully. So just kind of a little look on what's happened. So last fiscal year, we did the 10,000 trips. This year to date, the 10,005, and as I've explained, we're year-end projections, which will be about 147% increase. Our trip limit for passengers, last year we had to limit the number of trips each person received. We do not have to do that at this time. Passengers that are added to the system. So in last fiscal year, we were on a monthly basis. We were able to. 11 people were deemed eligible. Now we're doing 45 persons through the marketing plan. The word is getting out. So 40 on average, we're doing about 45 persons. We expect that to increase to about deeming 65 people a month eligible. So what that has done to our unduplicated passenger count, last year we were at 389 persons that were deemed eligible in using our system. Currently, we're at 608, and we expect to be at just over 1,000 by the end of this project. And just a few customer comments that we wanted to share with you. We always like to receive good. I think highly of the Martin County Community Coach Program. I wouldn't be able to work with them. We love this program. It's a lifesaver for me and my family, and I'm very happy to have this service. I cannot go to my physical therapy if it weren't for this ride. So we do have good customer satisfaction. So with your additional local funding this year, the rider trips, there's been no limitations. The riders do not have to prioritize medical appointments over grocery shopping, education, or employment. We are able to give everyone the rides that they need, and we have added significant number of eligible riders to this program. So, what next? We received this funding, what are we going to, how are we going to manage it, how are we going to sustain it? And we're not quite sure at this point, but I do want to give you kind of the best case scenario and worst case scenario just to think about. So our trip and equipment grant, our best case scenario is that we would, and worst, is that we'll get at least the $300,000 again next year. The ISD grant, we're not sure. We do not know. Again, it's an innovative service development grant. Innovation meaning So there may be another county that is going to be just as innovative as us, and they receive the funding next year. We may receive part of the funding. I don't know how the CTD is going to look at it. So worst case scenario, nothing. The local match, again, we appreciate the $105,000, which is at your minimum, at that 10% minimum that you have to provide us. Again, the worst case scenario is that we only get the trip and equipment grant at $300,000, and you only give us 10% match and not go above and beyond that. And then, of course, the ridership is my biggest concern. We're proven the need. We have proven the need in this last 6 months alone by the number of persons that we are deeming eligible and who are coming forward and saying we need this trip. We're expecting, again, to do the 25,000 trips, to spend the money completely that's been given to us. Worst case scenario is that we're going to only be able to provide 10,000 trips, which would be what the $300,000 gives us. And so we, or maybe you, are going to have to decide who we're going to say yes and no to at that point. Any questions for me at this time?
Thank you for that presentation and for your hard work. I know that the system that you put in place is the reason we got that funding, so I appreciate that, and I appreciate our MPO staff coordinating and working with you as well. Commissioner Smith.
Yeah, Karen, it goes without saying, it's obvious why we chose you all. You're really good at what you do.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a great Christmas.
Yeah, thank you, and you as well.
Thank you. Mr. Stevenson, you've done remarkable work and excellent on the navigation of the slides. Any other questions for the presenters? Seeing none, no one from the public looking to speak to us. Oh, is there? Sir, would you like to come forward? I don't have a request to speak for him. If you could just mention your name now for the record, and then our bailiff will give you a form to fill out.
Sure, I'm sorry. Bob McParland, the Community Development Administrator for the Department of Children and Families. I've been in that position for 10 years. I'm also an elected official. I serve on the Sebastian City Council, so I've been on the MPO for over a decade.
Okay.
So I know the Senior Resource Association because I worked with them for over a decade. I've been on the Transportation Disadvantaged Local Community Board in Indian River County for 10 years. I was just put on your board, I think, over a year now. And I noticed, when I did come down, the trips that you're able to provide for the transportation disadvantage down here was about a quarter of what is provided up there in Indian River County. And I've seen that, and working with the Senior Resource Association, every bit you kick in, they match the heck out of it. And I know at our last TDLCB meeting, we were talking about, it was 10,000 riders last year and looking to do 25,000 this year. First thoughts that came to my head, how did these people get around before? Because this service, for that population, it's a life changer. I mean, it's the difference. I mean, you just think all the mental health aspects for these individuals. So anything you can provide, I'm a firm believer in it, as well as in the past, I know former Mayor Merritt Matheson, he was the elected official that was on the TDLCB board. I would request if it could be a county commissioner, because you would be the greatest advocates to come back when it came back for an ask on some dollar items. But again, I cannot tell you the praises I have for the Senior Resource Association, Karen Deagle and Chris Stevenson, what they do with whatever is given. And again, the service they provide is phenomenal for the community. Thank you.
Appreciate that. Thank you for your service. I feel the same way.
Thank you. Thank you. I would ask if we could come back in April to give another update, which is closer to the year end, and maybe have a little bit further discussion. We probably at that time will have more information from the CTD as to what they're going to be doing this year with the funding situation. And so if we could, I will request to be able to be on the meeting during that month.
I will allow it.
Thank you very much.
I also think that it'll be an interesting situation. I saw you had the slide there. We were all, as you were going through the presentation, we're all thinking, wow, this is great news, great news, great news. But then you had a worst-case scenario that would bring us all the way back. And I can imagine if I was one of those riders that used to be limited or had to select between medical appointments and shopping, And then magically for 2022, 2023, I didn't have to do that. And then sadly for 2023, 2024, I'm back to that. You know, how are you going to keep them down on the farm after they've seen Paris?
So a good discussion to have, because it is going to, it's just, and I can tell you in your community, this is just going to, I can tell you the need is there. We all see that, so, and I appreciate
Well, if it surges to 25,000, obviously the need is there. So we'll have a conversation in April. We'll see what we come up with.
Appreciate that.
And I appreciate your ringer from Sebastian. Anything else on this agenda item? Seeing none, we have reached the end of our, not only of our meeting, but of our 2022 meetings.
Commissioners, there was a recommended action regarding
apologize.
keeping the budget the same, but I hear the requester is stated to take no action because it sounds like they want to request, keep their options open for a different request, is what I interpret the comment on. So I just wanted to clarify that for the record. So the recommended action is to take no action until an item in April.
Okay. I think that's a smart strategy. We'll have a much better and clearer picture of what's going on at that point. So with that in mind, we are at the end of our agenda. Commissioner Smith, any 2022 closing comments? Wrap up the year.
All set. Thank you very much for a great year, and happy holidays to everyone out there.
Thank you. Same to you and your family. It's going to be a special Christmas at your house with the little one.
It's already lighting up.
Commissioner Jenkins.
I want to take this opportunity to, I just got some very sad news that we lost one of the pillars of our community, especially in South County, is Rick Sands. Sands Construction. He just passed away actually during our meeting. He was huge in South County and in Stewart. The beginnings of the Boys and Girls Club in Hope Sound, I don't know that would have actually happened without him. He was an amazing guy. He served on the Hope Sound Community Chest for years and years and years and helped people all over the county. Was a huge mentor for me personally. And was a fishing fanatic. I've never seen anybody fish as much as he did. But anyway, it's a sad day for us in especially the Hope Sound area. I know he was well respected throughout the county. So anyway, other than that, Merry Christmas to everybody, and thank you.
Commissioner Hurd.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Mr. Donaldson.
I have two things. One is some business to end the meeting with, and that is last week you adopted your priorities, legislative priorities, and I think there was a question about appropriation requests and items that may be added. I did have some conversation with staff about our fire rescue training facility, which is underway for the classroom facilities and the burn building. We are anticipating some higher costs, and so I wanted to add the training tower, which was part of a previous approved item, that you would authorize that to be added to an appropriation request, that we could add that to that list so that I can make an official request to our state representatives to add a CIP project you already have included as one of our legislative priorities, and that would be the training tower.
Commissioner Smith.
Move approval with also and I've already had this conversation with Mr. Donaldson, but the effort to explore for additional funding all the federal resources that are coming through the various programs that have been offered. I'm sure somewhere in there is fire rescue, there is something in that capacity. So move approval of the request, but also to encourage staff to look at the federal opportunities.
Okay.
Second.
Thank you. Any further conversation on that motion? Seeing none, we have a motion by Commissioner Smith to approve the recommendation made by Mr. Donaldson, seconded by Commissioner Jenkins. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries 4-0.
And my final thing was just simply, I've reached my 6 months in this position, so it's not, after this, I doubt I'm the new guy anymore, right? You know, in this position, that doesn't last long. But I did want to, you know, as this time to celebrate, is really to thank, you know, we do have a good relationship with our constitutional officers, and I thank them, Vicki Davis, our supervisor election, Carolyn Timmon, clerk of court, Ruth Ski, our tax collector, Jenny Fields, our property appraiser, and our sheriff, Will Snyder, for all welcoming me as a part of the leadership team. And of course, Ms. Woods, our county attorney, has made this job immensely easier, and welcoming and team spirit that we have. And of course, thank to all of you, our commissioners, for having trust in me and our team. We have, I think we have the best staff on the Treasure Coast, and some of the best in the state of Florida in all our positions. So with that, Merry Christmas, and thank you for your support.
Thank you. Ms. Woods?
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Thank you. Mr. Donaldson, I'm glad you brought up that it was your 6-month review. I actually have several pages of notes and recommendations that I'd like to share with you now.
I'm sorry, your time is up.
All kidding aside, 2022 had some highlights and some lowlights. We lost some dear friends, members of our community, members of our commission and government staff. I wish their families and those that care about them comfort during the holidays. Holidays can be very challenging for some families. And so my wish for our staff and our citizens is a healthy 2023. And whatever comes our way as a government, I know that the 5 of us with our more than 1,000 staff, Martin County government family, will be ready and able to handle whatever 2023 brings us. Thank you very much. We will see you on January 10th, 2023. Merry Christmas.
Hey, Don.